What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the NFL Takeover, the show, as y'all already know, where we don't hold back. We talk football the way it's supposed to be talked. I'm your moderator, Shamaria or Maria, and here we have Mookie, Jordan, LB, Uwana, and Byron today for this episode. A lot has happened, so actually, before we get into everything, I need y'all to go ahead and like this video. And if you've got a super chat, drop it and we'll read it throughout the show. And don't forget, if you're on Underdog, use our code TAKEOVER when you sign up to get in on the action. Let me go ahead and put the banner up, put the thing up. So y'all go ahead and do that if y'all love the NFL Takeover and rated R. But let's get into the first topic. Let's kick it off with the biggest preseason story. Shedeur Sanders came in with all eyes on him and did not disappoint. Coming into preseason, the talk was he'd get first reps with the starters, and a lot of GMs and owners wanted him to fail. That's why he fell, as we know, to the 5th round. He put on one of the best preseason performances we've seen from a rookie quarterback in years. Panel, was this Shedeur proving the doubters wrong or just a preseason flash? Byron, we'll start with you with this question.
I think to a certain extent it's definitely proving the doubters wrong, especially with a lot of talk that came from him falling to the 5th round. And I mean, he had a good performance. He completed 14 out of 23 of his passes, but it's less than 10 yards completion with only 138 passing yards. When I looked at his play, I thought he did a good job of going through his progressions and checking down. His pocket presence was really good, showed great mobility. However, I'm a little concerned about his throwing motion. It's a little rigid, and we saw that consistent with the accuracy issues. He was a little bit inconsistent with his accuracy, and I found that a lot of the passes over the middle lacked zip. So it was harder to fit it into those tight windows. So I think it's a little early, a little bit of a flash, but thoughts, you guys?
Yeah, I think y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I think Shedeur Sanders to me was outstanding. I mean, he proved a lot of doubters wrong because we all know is politics and why Shedeur Sanders wasn't one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. A guy that was projected to being a top 2 quarterback draft in the game. He got failed to the 5th round. People can sit there and say it's because of his dad. People can sit there and say the way that he showed up throughout the meetings, throughout the process of getting drafted, and they use words to sit there and say the owners use words sitting there and say he made me feel lower than I was and stuff like that. So I think Shedeur Sanders, 14-23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he operated beautifully in that red zone as well, right? Hit that tight window throw. Fit it up in the middle. I like how he's going through his progressions. That's the thing about Shedeur Sanders is that he's a willing pocket passer. This is a guy that's not quick to bail. This is a guy that really go to the progression. The problem is that the question about Shedeur Sanders is like, can he be able to, in an NFL type of offense and schemes and everything, like, can he be able to have better pocket presence? I mean, his pocket presence was beautiful in that game as well. I know you mentioned that he lacked zip with his balls up the middle. I just think that, the problem when we're looking at quarterbacks today is that Shedeur Sanders is not physically gifted like Cam Ward, or he's not physically gifted like these other quarterbacks that have stronger arm, cannon of an arm and all that other stuff. He's not gifted like that. But the thing about what gives those quarterbacks a higher floor is your ability to be able to be accurate, which he does. Great ball placement as well, right? And be able to go through progressions, right? Like, can his mechanics get better? Yes, he's a rookie. It's preseason. But when I look at Shedeur Sanders, I'm very, very impressed with him. The fact that he's not a starter for the Browns is crazy to me. And I think that if they do put Shedeur Sanders as starter, they're going to win some games in the league. But I don't think the Browns is going in that direction. But I like what I've seen for Shedeur Sanders. That guy can play quarterback. I think that he is the best quarterback in this draft. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft to me. Because when I look at quarterbacks, I look at your traits, the accuracy, the anticipation. Can you get through reads quickly? How quick is your internal clock? I don't really value the physical traits like that because, like I said there and said, when everything dies and everything, when they take away what you like to do best, what things that are just sustainable that can get you a long term, right, and help you go through the long term career, right? And that's process, anticipation, all that other stuff. So I like what I've seen with Shedeur Sanders. He threw the Dodgers wrong, man.
LB, are you in agreement with Mookie that he is the best quarterback in this class coming up? And what are your thoughts on his performance?
In the class, I mean, I don't know about all that, to be honest with you, but I do think that his performance was good. I did think he silenced the haters because he got done wrong in the draft. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, he got hoed. I mean, it's bullshit. He was a good quarterback in college. He wasn't amazing, but he was good. His team didn't, go crazy, but he did well. And I think there was a reason that he played in this preseason game. I think there's a reason that he did well. It's because he is an accurate quarterback. We saw him throwing some on-the-target passes. He is a great quarterback in the pocket as well, I think. So, I mean, we saw him performing in the game, and I think that the Browns aren't going to start him, of course. I mean, there's a reason he was at the bottom of the depth chart, but I definitely see him getting playtime the next first 6 weeks of the season because the Browns are going to suck, and I mean, they're going to be trying shit out. I think he's going to be in there. But, I mean, I'm not going to jump the gun and say he's the best quarterback in the draft. I mean, there's a reason he wasn't above guys like Quinn Ewers or Cam Ward. We're going to be honest.
What? hold on.
Quinn? You said Quinn?
Quentin Ewers.
Yeah, I fuck with Quinn Ewers, bro.
Hold on. What does Quentin Ewers to you that you see on tape that he's better than Shedeur Sanders? Because Shedeur Sanders last year threw for 4,000 yards. What do you had? Close to 70 completion percentage. He didn't turn over the ball that much. Like, what do you see for Quentin Ewers' game where it's better than Shedeur Sanders? Because Shedeur Sanders was one of the top projected picks in the draft, LB. Come on, bro.
What I'm saying is Quinn Ewers, he was a winner in college. You know what I'm saying?
On a stacked Texas team.
Help me.
He's trolling.
LB, just sit there and say you don't know LB.
I'm just fucking with y'all, bro. But I do think he's not better than Cam Ward, though. In all honesty, I do think he got hoed in the draft, but I don't think he is better than Cam Ward. I think there's a reason that Ward was the top pick out of the quarterbacks. But like I said, I'm looking to see Sanders, bro. I'm looking to see him be the starter for the Browns after the first month of the season because they're going to be asked. They're going to be looking for a change, and I'm trying to see him in there, bro. I'm trying to see him succeed.
What were your thoughts on his performance?
I mean, again, like Mookie said, like we all know, like Shedeur Sanders is like an early round talent. He should have gone first round, maybe second round, but I mean, he fell because of the off-field issues that the team didn't really mess with. But I thought he looked great in this preseason. Again, preseason is kind of like you gotta like judge, you gotta take with a grain of salt, only because you're not really facing like the first team. But actually, in Shedeur Sanders' case, he was playing the first team defense, so that was good to see. But again, in preseason, you can't it's only a limited sample. So, but we did get a flash of his game, and during that game, he had elite vision. He looked electric. I thought his I think Byron said his pocket presence was really really good. He moved very well. He stepped up and made plays on third down a lot of the time. I thought the best play he made was when he was in the end zone and he had two defenders in his face, and he looks down the field and he makes a great throw with pinpoint accuracy. I thought he looked great in this game. And then he had 2 TDs, 0 interceptions. He was very calm and composed. The only part I know someone mentioned his mechanics. The only part I really saw in this game was that sometimes he would put the ball in harm's way. A couple of times I felt like he would try to fit a ball into a tight window and it will almost get intercepted. And but that can all be fixed. It's only preseason, like I said before. So he has time to work on his mechanics. He has time to work on his accuracy. Shedeur Sanders is going to start on this Browns team by week 4, week 5.
That's what I'm saying.
Week 6. I don't see how Joe Flacco, Tyler Huntley, all those quarterbacks they have in Cleveland, I don't see how Shedeur Sanders is.
So let me ask you something. Where do you have Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback in
this draft class?
Yes.
I think he's honestly the second best quarterback in the draft. I was impressed.
So let me ask you something. What is he? Who's number one to you then?
Cam Ward.
But what's separating him from Cam Ward then?
What's separating Cam Ward from Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah.
I mean, well, I think Cam Ward just played better in college, and that and second, this week, like Cam Ward did pretty well. He had limited action, but I feel like Cam Ward, overall is just a better pocket passer, and I feel like he's already pro ready right now. Just a little bit better than Shedeur Sanders, but it's not that far off. I don't think I would say that Shedeur is better at this point, but I feel like he definitely could, grow into that role and be better than Cam Ward in the future.
Now, I think when I look at Shedeur Sanders, I just like how they, like when you watch on tape, like they work that stick and that slant, flat, family RZ space and snap really, really well. Like I think that the anticipation, those timing throws that he was making. I like the thing about Shedeur Sanders, and people don't give him credit for. And this is why I like him. We're going to talk about more of the rookies as we go on with the show. But I like how he just don't bail too quick, right? He's not willing to make a big play. Like he's willing to take what the defense gives. I feel like all the other quarterbacks have that tendency where they're getting off their first read too quick and they're bailing too much as well, right? Whereas you look at these other when you look at a guy like Shedeur Sanders, he's willing to go through those progressions, Byron. And that's the thing where I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, that's a guy that I look at Shedeur Sanders with. If everything's clicking and he's getting better, that guy has a high floor, bro. He does.
I mean, I completely agree. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I wanted to, but I mean, I agree. And I think what's important about watching Shedeur play is that he does the little things right. And so him going through his progressions and not being afraid to check it down, for him to stay poised in the pocket until the last second. These are things that are really, really hard to ingrain in a quarterback that's so habitual, and to worry about little things like mechanics and, the hip displacement when he's throwing the football. These are things that can be improved with NFL coaching. And as long as the mental is there, the confidence is there, and the decision making is there, there's only room to improve.
Absolutely. There's more room to improve. I think he is, man. That's why I think that is this audacity that he felt. What are your thoughts? Like, why would he fall fifth in the draft like that? Fifth.
Non-football related reasons.
That's what
I'm saying. It's non-football related. He got a big ego.
Fuck with that shit. And the owner did not fuck with him being bigger than the team, which he gonna be bigger than the team in a few years. We see that with players across the league that they're bigger than their team.
But LB, I'm gonna ask you, do you agree with that, LB, though?
Do I agree with what?
Like, do you agree with what he said there and said, like, he's bigger than the team and stuff? Like, do you agree with that?
I mean, right now it's kind of crazy, but I mean, down the road I see that shit for sure. I mean, you see,
but LB, you know that they want to go and watch Shedeur Sanders. That's who they want to go and watch. That's who they want to.
Especially if you were the Browns, if you were a trash ass team, then yeah, I mean, that's the star player, that's the attraction to the team, that's the big pick. So to a point, he has a point, and back on with the other point, I do think he has a higher ceiling than Cam Ward, but I mean, we're going to see with that. But yeah, I mean, he got hoed in the draft. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I think he must have said some shit to those owners and them GMs in those interviews that just rubbed them the wrong way. It might have been just jealousy out of them because they knew he was going to be a star in a few years. We got to see.
Do want to get Jordan's thoughts on Shedeur's game, and I also have another question to pose for everybody on here. Do you think the performance that we saw from him can translate over into the regular season? But Jordan, you can go ahead.
I mean, everyone pretty much touched on everything I was going to say. The two main things I want to say is a pro and a con. The pro is the thing that I didn't expect for actually to translate over to NFL and like actually pretty good. This is athleticism. Like the out of structure play in certain plays, he was actually outrunning D linemen, linebacker. He was actually outrunning people, and people were swearing. They were swearing in their lives he was going to be some statue in the pocket. No, he was moving. He was moving out there. Especially, I think there was one play. He had like a D lineman coming off the right side. He juked him, went out, and then I think he ran for the first down, something like that. But the athleticism, that's for sure. That's the positive thing. But the negatives that he translated from college was for sure he holds the ball too long. Some of those plays, he was trying to be like Lamar Jackson. You're not Lamar Jackson. You're Shedeur Sanders. He is like a slightly above average athletic quarterback. And I feel like some of the plays he was trying to do is just not in his It's not his bag, bro. It's just not. And Mookie, you asked the question. He's the best quarterback in this draft. I mean, this is one of the worst quarterback drafts in NFL history, so it doesn't mean shit to me. But he's for sure the second best quarterback, though. But and LB, you just said he has the highest floor. The highest ceiling. Why would he have a higher ceiling than Cam Ward? I just want to ask that question real quick.
You said what? Sorry.
Why does Shedeur Sanders have a better ceiling or a higher ceiling than Cam Ward?
I think he got a higher ceiling mostly just because. I mean, I think he has better arm talent than Cam Ward.
That's a lie. Well, that's a lie.
I don't think it is, bro. I'm telling you.
What is he like what though? Like what?
Like what about his arm talent?
What aspect of arm talent?
I think he's gonna have a stronger arm.
No, bro,
he's gonna become more accurate over. Like I said, bro, I'm looking to see him develop, bro. I'm just telling you right now. I think he's gonna develop in the NFL. I don't think that Colorado was the best fit or offense for him, and I think that you're gonna see that in the NFL.
Yeah, Travis Hunter.
The thing is and they were amazing together. Like they were an amazing duo. Like they
but
were
if you watch,
they're better than Cam Ward's receiver duo was.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, it's Travis Hunter. Who did Cam Ward have? But if you watch the film, Cam Ward, like the arm talent, just the bullet passes, intermediate passing game, deep ball, literally every aspect of passing, from an arm talent perspective, he's better than Shedeur. Even right now, that's why I think you're
wrong about that, bro.
I think the only thing you give Shedeur is he's more accurate. That's it.
And I think he's a better processor.
Yeah,
and
I'm talking about from like an arm talent perspective. I'm talking about arm talent. The only thing is more accurate. Cam Ward is better at literally everything else.
And
even the accuracy isn't that crazy. Yeah, there's not even a crazy gap. I mean, pretty high. But if you're doing like a checklist thing of all arm talent qualities, the only thing he has is accuracy. I think it's like a pretty big gap. But then from like deep ball, intermediate, zip, like Byron was talking about, zip on the ball. He has way more zip on the ball. If you factor all that in, I feel like Cam Ward is.
Yeah, but Shedeur is a way better processor. He's way more accurate. I think he has better.
That's all you can say.
Ball placement. Like, but those are things that gives you a higher floor. Higher floor for quarterbacks means
I said ceiling. He said ceiling. Like,
oh yeah, I agree that Cam has a higher ceiling. But like I said, Maz, like, do you think like Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in the draft? And which like I don't understand what I don't know.
It's hard to say that after week one. I mean, he had a great show game to start his NFL preseason off. But I got to see him versus, you know what I'm saying, better competition, bro. Different teams do different shit, different schemes, different packages defensively. And so I saw a lot of good things from Shedeur. What stood out to me was just, like Mookie said, his pocket awareness, right? He steps back. The edge rusher is getting to him. He steps up in the pocket, moves slightly to his right, and then slings a dart. And so that tells me that he's already ahead of schedule. My only thing is this, though. I'm going to stay even kill. Because this is the NFL, and they have a special way of humbling quarterbacks, right? And so we got to see more of this consistently versus better competition and much better defenses. But with that being said, I got to praise him for what I saw in the first game. I don't think he needs elite arm talent. I don't think they're going to put that type of pressure on him. For one, the Browns ain't even got deep receivers where he needs talent to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who's he throwing to, for crying out loud? And so if he can make the 15, 20, 25-yard pass on time in the breadbasket, I'm okay with that, right? And also, too, if I'm the Browns, I run that goddamn football. You make it easy for that young kid, bro. You cannot have him drop back 30, 40 times a game because he will get crushed. This is the National Football League. And so I think the Browns need to run the football. I think they'll do good on play-action passes. But you can't come out of that game and say he played bad. He looked great. I'm just going to take a step back. And I need to see more weeks of this, Mookie, and more consistency. And then also, too, to be fair, I'm going to wait until like maybe week 3, week 4, week 5, if he's playing in the season, and then I'll judge him then. And here's my last point. It's pure jealousy, bro. You feel me? This has nothing to do with football. This kid had no business going that late in the fucking NFL draft, bro. Like, this is a travesty. And these owners should be ashamed of themselves. And here's how Shedeur is going to win this, right? Don't talk. Don't say shit. Just play football. Let your game do the talking. In week 1, he did that.
Wait, but Maz, you said the Browns got to run the ball. How are you going to run the ball when you have running backs like Jerome Ford and Kushar Jukes that haven't proved themselves yet? You know,
well, that's easy, bro. Listen, I didn't say run the ball to get big yards, but I'm saying keep the defense honest, right? Because sometimes you run the ball just to keep the defense saying they could run the football, right? And so sometimes, bro, you don't want a young quarterback a la Caleb Williams last year in Chicago running for his goddamn life. Bro, football has always been up front between the tackles, physicality, and running the football, bro. Period. And so they're not running the football to gain 10 yards a pop. But for crying out loud, bro, they have to run the football, bro. They have to.
I know they have to run the
They'll
football.
get that kid hurt. He'll get hurt.
The problem is that the Browns don't have a good running game in the first place. That's why they're not.
It's not about having a good running game, bro. It's just the fact that a defense has to account for your running game.
Why would you have to account for something?
Why would you have to
account for something that's not good? Why would you have to account for something that's not good? Just who gives a fuck if they run?
Because if you don't establish the run all on the
bro, you can't drop back 30.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah,
if you guys expect Shedeur Sanders to drop back 30 plus times a game, he's gonna get hurt. Bro, listen. Let's be honest here. There are defensive ends, defensive tackles, and linebackers who run 4.3s and 4.5s. They will catch him. This is bro. This ain't Colorado State, bro. This is the National Football fucking league. Run the goddamn football. Period. What are you talking about, bro?
I agree with Maz. Got a good point, bro.
They have a weak ass running.
One
at a time.
Go ahead, Byron.
I was just going to say, to add to Moss's point, the emphasis of running the football necessarily isn't the need to gain yardage off those plays, but it's to keep the edge rushers honest. If you're going to pass first down, second down, third down consistently over and over, you're allowing the edge rushers to tee off. You're allowing the coordinator to tee up stunts. You're making it much easier and much more predictable for the defense. And with a rookie quarterback, it's unattainable. It's too high of a standard to expect him to walk into the NFL and to throw it all over a defense that knows you're going to throw it.
I mean, I understand. Like, I know the importance of running the football. Like, I mean, that's what makes Lamar great. He has a good running game. That's what makes players like Josh Allen and Jordan Love, like, they have running games that can open up the offense. But my point is that the Browns don't have a good running game. So you can't say that now that they have to run the football, and then later in week 6 and week 7, when the Browns are getting 2.5 yards per carry, 2 yards per carry, 1.5 yards per carry, they're getting a lot of they're getting tackled in the backfield. Then you got to put the pressure on Shedeur Sanders. That's why I'm saying you can't say that right now that the Browns have to run the football. Also, you said something about they don't have receivers that can't have the you said they don't have receivers that can catch the deep ball. I mean, they have Jerry Jeudy.
Respect Jerry Jeudy.
So I mean, he's cool, bro, but he's nothing to write home over.
He's not cool.
Again,
he's
definitely not a deep threat.
Yeah. I mean, exactly, bro. And I can't stress this enough, right? We saw last year Caleb Williams running for his goddamn life because they put too much pressure on that young kid, right? He had to make out of structure plays, run around defensive tackles, edge rushers, and then get sacked and just do dumb shit, bro. Like, you will get this kid hurt. Like, this is not Colorado State. This is the National Football goddamn league, fellas. Like, listen, as good as he is, bro, you got veteran QBs with better legs, better processing, getting sacked, for crying out loud. What do you think he gonna get, bro, if you put that type of pressure on dropping back 30 times a game and not running the football? And here's my last point. Nobody expects the Browns to win games anyways. So this season, it isn't even about wins and losses. It's about developing their young talent, and it starts and ends with Shedeur Sanders. And you can't develop if you're not playing. Yeah, run the goddamn football, bro.
Okay. And that's the point. And Maz and Byron cooking, because at the end of the day, it's all about setting the foundation of the run. It's always getting the defense honest and be able to sit there and say, okay, they in 12 or 13 personnel, we're running the football, we're handing the football off, instead of sitting there and just dropping back all the time, expecting Shedeur Sanders to be able to carry an offense that is lacking those type of supporting cast, especially offensively. So like, that's why I sat there and said you got to run the football. That gets the pressure off a rookie quarterback. There's very few rookie quarterbacks in NFL history, right, where they were still elite without elite running game. The one quarterback I can remember was like Justin Herbert. Like, that's the only quarterback I know that was elite without an elite running game. Just setting the foundation of that run and just keep on going, bro. That's what it is.
Okay. So the basis is we just have an understanding that, Shedeur is still proving the haters. I think Shedeur will prove the haters wrong once the season actually starts. And he showcased his talents in that preseason game. But before we move on, we do have a couple of super chats that will get read out loud. Tyree said that Shedeur is ass. We disagree. And Ace5 said, salute to y'all, good show, but why Mook remove people for calling out his crazy obsession with Burrow?
I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't remove anybody, so I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah. But yeah, to the guy, to sit there and say Shedeur is ass, you just hate, bro. I mean, there's nothing. Now there's quarterbacks that we're going to talk about in the preseason that are going to his ass. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, and that is the next topic, the rookie report, best and worst week 1. So we got a real look at the 2025 rookie class. Some guys looked NFL ready, others not so much. Who stood out to you, good or bad? And what does it actually mean moving forward? We saw Cam, we spoke on Shedeur, we saw Tyler Show. We can start this one off with Jordan.
I watched like half the games. I did a whole bunch of bullet points on my other screen. But the main thing I came here to talk about in this rookie class was Matthew Golden going against Sauce Gardner, one of the premier DBs in this league. The route running, the speed, the hands, the yak ability. I'm just telling y'all, Matthew Golden, that's my offensive rookie of the year right there. All of our wide receivers, I'm a Packers fan, all of our wide receivers are going down with injuries. Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. Mecole Hardman's ass. He is our only reliable pass-catching option. He's going to get spammed the ball. It's going to be pretty much what happened with Malik Neighbors last year. I can see him having upwards of 12, 13, 1,400 passing or catch or yards. I just want everyone to chat on the panel. Look out for Matthew Golden. He's gonna cook this year. Something crazy. Jordan Love's gonna spam him. But some other people, Jackson Dart, he played good. The ball placement is just not there. But the touch, I feel like the some of those passes he was making, I actually didn't expect it from him. Just the touch in the ball. It's like kind of like his mechanics are actually pretty decent too. And then Tyler Shaw, sorry for Mookie telling you this, he's ass. He's not an NFL quarterback. He's got some of the worst pocket presence I've ever seen in my life. The mechanics are ass. The footwork is ass. I don't know. The only reason he got picked up is because he has somewhat good arm talent. That one touchdown throw he did was good. But the processing, the throwing with anticipation, he is not a good quarterback. And we're going to look back on that pick years to come. The nigga is trash. But besides that, I mean, there's some other – but those are the main ones I had.
Mookie, who stood out to you, good or bad?
I did my research and just watched these other quarterbacks. I'm gonna start with Cam Ward. I honestly think that like Cam Ward had settled on 2 drives. He found Calvin Ridley. You know what I'm saying? I think Cam Ward, when watching his tape, I see a lot of flaws in his game, but I also see a lot of positives too as well. Like I think that he bails to the pocket too quickly. I think he gets off his first read too quick, but then when like they're asking him to run some half-field concepts, I think he can go through progressions pretty well. I think when his feet is set, he can make rhythm throws. But the problem is that he has this thing that Bo Nix have where they just always willing to get the big play. Like they always want to scramble out the pocket and just get the big play. And that's when I sat there and said, man, you just got to, for a quarterback to be, the processing and instruction, what you're able to do is a higher thing. It gives your team a higher floor. You got to quickly go through those things. And, you know what I'm saying, part of the problem with help these quarterbacks to be able to be like somewhat of good one-read quarterbacks is just being able to operate in RPO situation, quick run game, footwork, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that he was very good in that situation as well. So, yeah, shout out to him. And another thing, too, I mean, Jordan is right. I mean, Tyler Saul is not a starting caliber quarterback right now. The same goes for Spencer Rattler. It's just the Saints is just in a situation where you got to play either one of these guys. And either one of these guys that start, we're still not going to win the game. I don't like what I see from Spencer Rattler as well. I think that he was running towards sacks, willing not to take risks. His inaccuracy was just probably one of the most inaccurate second-year quarterbacks I've seen. I mean, just throwing behind the receivers, not leading towards the receivers, not willing to make those throws, zipping it toward the middle of the field. You know what I'm saying? And those are just things that I just don't see. And then the ball placement is just not really that good. Both these quarterbacks struggle under pressure, if y'all make it seem like. Also, Anthony Richardson. We got to have a conversation. He's not a quarterback. Anthony Richardson is just not an NFL quarterback. He needs to change his position. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, he got hurt on the first drive, had a little freaking ankle freaking pinky something. I don't know what it was, but it just the thing is, this is when I talk about like Josh Allen ruining a way where owners are just drafting these like physically gifted quarterbacks, right? That has stronger arms and like trying to make them to a project where they can develop into very good high level pocket passers. And I think it's just somewhat ruined the NFL in a way, because then you drafting guys like Milroe, then you drafted guys like Anthony Richardson. They just got arm talent. That's it. Physical traits, but he's not accurate. He can't read defenses, right? I mean, I don't even know if he's a starter. The fact that it's a conversation that him and freaking, Daniel Jones, it just shows you that it's just not looking good for his guy. And I think that if you want to still play in the NFL, they have to change position. Also, I'm going to give credit to Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren was very good as well, right? Great blocking, broke tackles after the catch, really good. I also like that. I like that tackle as well from the Patriots. Will Campbell. Will Campbell was very good. If y'all watching him on tape, just eliminating rushers, being able to block up the field. So shout out to Will Campbell too. He was also. But also than that, man, that's who I really set off. I mean, Adul Carter. I'm biased against Adul Carter because we did exchange some words of Jalen Hurts and stuff like that. But he's going to be a very, very good edge rusher for the New York Giants. So those are really got. I'm interested to see week 2 of the preseason, because we're going to be talking about these preseason games as we break down towards the end of the offseason going to the NFL. But I'm just excited. I love watching these rookies play.
This is the best part. Mr. Moz, any rookie stand out to you, good or bad?
You're muted.
Yeah.
You're muted, Moz.
My bad, guys. Mookie stole a little bit of my thunder with the tight end, Tyler Warren. Tight ends have a tough job in this league, right? You're tasked to catch, run block. You're up against bigger tackles, defensive edge rushers, etc. I thought he looked great in the first game. He held his own, so I thought he stood out. I'm going to tell you somebody who did okay, but his accuracy got to get better. And that's Jackson Dart, right? Struggle with key down throws, no accuracy, overthrowing guys, right? So if I had to give him a grade, maybe a C-. He can be a lot better. And so I think the more snaps he takes, the better he'll get. But he needs to get a whole lot better with his accuracy. There were some balls there for the taking, and he just missed them. Another sneaky guy, Mookie, Nick Jackson, linebacker, right? Undrafted, undersized linebacker at that, right? 6 tackles, hitting, speedy guy, coming downhill, making plays, stopping the run. He wasn't expected to do what he did in his first game. And I can't stress enough, undrafted. So maybe he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, but the kid had 6 tackles. And so when you're trying to make a ball club, make a team, even a practice team, games like that is what you want to see. So I think Nick Jackson is going to be an underrated player. So look out for him. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders stands out, about what he did, good throws, things like that. Listen, there's a lot of skilled players who played great, right? Offensive tackles, defensive tackles, offensive linemen. There's just too many to name. And but overall, though, yeah, that's what I got for now.
LB, what are some players?
And man, Moss Loki stole some of my thunder as well, man. Y'all know I'm a Big Ten guy and I'm an Iowa fan. And he mentioned Nick Jackson. I thought he was really good. I mean, I watched him at Iowa the last 3 years, and he was undersized, but he's a great tackler, and you saw him get the 6 tackles. I think he's going to be good. I really think he's going to be good for that team. And I think another guy you got to look at on Big Ten defensive side of the ball is from Michigan was Josiah Stewart for the Rams. I thought he had a pretty good game. He had some good tackles as well as getting a sack. So I think that I don't hold a lot of value in preseason, to be honest with y'all. I think it's stupid to get caught up in it, but I do think you got to look at when it comes to defensive players, especially, you got to put more value than offense, because defense comes down to making tackles and making plays. Offense, a lot of times, it's a whole mismatch of who's in there, what lineup you're against, who you're going on the other side of the ball, And I think if people get excited or get pissed off about that kind of shit, what you see out of offense. But when it comes to defense, what you see is what you're going to get down the road. And I think that you see guys like Nick Jackson, guys like Josiah Stewart. I think you're going to see success out of those kind of guys. So that's all I really got. Like I said, I don't put a whole lot of value in preseason, but I do think when you look at the defensive side of the ball, you can get some stuff about it.
We do have a super chat from Big Truck. He said, God asks QB concerns you the most after week 1? Quinn Ewers, Tyler Show, or Jackson Dort?
I would say Jackson Dart, to be honest with y'all. But
I mean,
Tyler Show was ass.
Dort.
I was going to say, for the play, going to evaluate the quarterback play on itself. Show played the worst by far, as I think it was mentioned before. Inconsistent footwork, uncomfortable in the pocket. Didn't really see a lot of audibles as far as pass protection, and his throwing mechanics are extremely inconsistent. When he gets it right, you can see him throw with a lot of accuracy, but there's just no consistency in his game. Ewers has got a big issue as well with arm strength and his mechanics. And Dart, at least you can see the tools are there. When there's pressure, his footwork becomes very sloppy. So I think that Dart would still be at the top of that list as far as ability based on what we saw. But
did any players stick out to you, Byron, in a positive way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Matthew Golden, while he didn't exactly rack up any statistics, he converted a first down on the slant. And the reps he got against Sauce Gardner, you can see he's extremely quick off the line, and you can see that he has a variety of releases. He's extremely quick out of his breaks. And while we didn't totally see a showcased, we saw from his college film his ability to catch outside his frame. I think there's a lot to like about Matthew Golden, and it all showed in his first preseason game. On top of that, Trayvon Henderson, he only got 1 carry and it was for 18 yards, opened the game off with a kick return for a touchdown. I think his burst shows that it is going to be elite at the next level. We already knew it was elite for college. It's going to translate. I think we can tell relatively early. And then I like to shout out my big boys, Simmons, Josh Simmons from Ohio State. He's the tackle now for the Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't give up a pressure in the game. He's extremely quick off the snap, and his hand placement is incredibly consistent. So that's a lot to like there. He could end up being one of the best tackles in this draft and a good tackle for a long time based on what we've seen technique-wise from the guy.
Josh Simmons, that's a good pull. That's a good pull.
Are there any players that stood out to you?
Yeah, there are a couple guys I want to point out real quick. First of all, Travis Hunter, second pick of the draft. He did get limited. We only saw a little bit from him, but he did have 10 snaps on offense, 8 snaps on defense. I thought that was pretty interesting. It seems like they're going to take it slow in terms of involving him in both the offense and defense. I think right now he's like higher on the wide receiver depth chart than he is on the corner depth chart. But there was like nothing bad from him. You know, he didn't necessarily have a great game or whatever, but it is good for his development that, they're taking it slow, in my opinion. Another guy I want to look at is Jalen Milroe. He also had limited reps in this game. I think he had 10 pass attempts in total. I think he had 60 completion percentage. He had 61 passing yards, 38 rushing yards on the ground. I think Jalen Milroe could be, a good dual threat quarterback, with high upside. And, I don't want to say too early, but it is possible that he could take the job from Sam Darnold. I mean, we've seen the same thing with Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson. It's kind of funny how, it's happening to the same team, but it's pretty much the exact same situation that, they gave Matt Flynn all that money. They gave Sam Darnold all this money, and they drafted, Russell Wilson. They drafted Jalen Milroe in the 3rd round. I thought he did pretty well in his preseason debut. He didn't play that much, but, that's cool. Kim Ward he also had limited reps, but he looked pretty good. Ted McMillan, Travion Henderson, Tyler Warren, like somebody said, they all look good. I thought they really impressed. But one question I have is why are we praising Shedeur Sanders and we're not praising Jackson Dart? Because one player I was really, I didn't really like that got drafted in the 1st round was Jackson Dart. I felt like Shedeur Sanders should have got over him. But I mean, if we're going off of preseason and what we watched, mean, Jackson Dart played a good game. Like, I don't understand how you guys are saying that he didn't have a good game. Like, he had 154 passing yards in one quarter. He threw a touchdown, a beautiful touchdown pass to his receiver stride. It was amazing deep ball. He has 0 interception this game. I mean, he looked good from under pressure. You know, like, I'm not saying that Jackson Dart is, you know, it should be the starter or whatever, but I'm just saying that based off of what we saw, Jackson Dart looked good. I don't think it's fair to
You think Jackson Dart operate like an NFL star like Shedeur did?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that Jackson Dart looked good, you know, in his preseason game. Like I said before, we can't take preseason into too much account. But if we're going based off what we saw, Shedeur and Jackson Dart play similar games. I mean, I'm not gonna say that Shedeur played better or Jackson Dart played better, but you could argue both of them that they both play. You know, one of them outplay another. Like you could argue for Jackson Dart, you could argue for Shedeur.
But I don't think it's ignoring Jackson Dart. It's just that Shedeur gave you both production on the pro level, like execution and just being able to operate things that I think will sustain more in the NFL level. Like Jackson Dart, like I think Jackson Dart is he's a solid quarterback. He has good arm strength. I think he has the second best arm talent in the league, or for the quarterbacks draft class, right? Not in the league, but the quarterback draft class. But also, I just think that he is a guy that I can see watching on film get baited into the sky coverages and not being able to get through those reads and those progressions at quick enough level. You know what I'm saying? So even though Jackson Dart has it, he has some tools there. This is a guy that I think that for me, it's going to take some time for him to develop into a starting caliber quarterback, right? Shedeur is there, but I just think that the reason why we're praising Shedeur more because he did it, especially with everybody crucifying in the media and all that other stuff and everything that comes behind the scenes, while also explaining that talent and stuff like that.
Also, too, Mookie, Shedeur Sanders showed more poise and he showed more attributes in the pocket, right? He showed he can drop back, throw under pressure, staring down him. He also showed that his legs work, right? When Dart had a clean pocket at times, he missed throws that he should make 9 out of 10 times, right? And so, again, I think Shedeur looked like a starting quarterback, and you can see the command of the offense that he had. I'm not saying that Jackson didn't have it. I'm just saying, for me, there was a difference, right? And you just saw Shedeur. Listen, you saw the total package of Shedeur, right? In the pocket and outside the pocket. And for me, that stood out.
I just wanted to quickly add. I'm not going to take long at all. I think something that's really notable, something I've noticed in comparison with these other rookie quarterbacks with Shedeur, is obviously the pocket poise, like you guys mentioned. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the offensive line difference that these other college quarterbacks got to play with in comparison to Shedeur having to play with one of the worst pass blocking units in college football.
Great point.
Colorado, he was. Go ahead.
Great point. Preparation, bro. I mean, sometimes even when Shedeur last year was running for his life, getting sacked, you learn from that, bro. Like, I mean, every sack isn't a bad thing, right? Mistakes are not a bad thing in this sport. And I think Shedeur Sanders is much more aware, pre-snap preparation, and you saw it, bro. It's like he knew where it's almost like Shedeur knew where the pressure was coming from, and you saw him evade it, bro. To me, you can't teach that. You just can't teach that at that age. You can't teach that.
Absolutely not. And the way he sets his protection and tees up into that, right? So with him learning all the pass protection calls at Colorado, if there is going to be pressure coming, it gives you a much better idea of where it's coming from. And you notice the difference in the way he handles pressure versus Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. It's little things like shoulder slips. It's climbing into the pocket rather than bailing out. And I think what you see a lot today with a lot of starting caliber quarterbacks is a lot of stand and bail. A lot of standing, and when the pocket collapsed, they just turn and bail out of the pocket. And I think that's something absolutely something worth noting about Shedeur's game in comparison to the other rookies.
Absolutely. You cooking, man.
Great point.
The last thing I want to say about this topic, I know we're talking about rookies here, but it's hard to ignore the play we saw from Anthony Richardson because I thought that was horrible. The funny part is that the reason he got injured was literally his fault. Like I've seen Kurt Warner break this down. You know, like a lot of I know Kurt Burkett, you know, a lot of other NFL QBs. He didn't read the pass protection correctly. They were scat protect, and Shane Steichen did a really good job of making sure that he had he had options when he was hot, which he was. And you can see Anthony Richardson, he's not even looking on the right side of the field where his options are. He's looking on the left side of the field where he thought the corner was going to blitz. And, he didn't see Ojabo coming out from the right side. He took a really big hit. I mean, that was on him. I know a lot of people were saying that was on a running back. It just wasn't. That's on Anthony Richardson. That's day one pass protection. And I said it last week, like, Anthony Richardson, I thought, like I said, he was under the most pressure. And this is exactly why, because he's fighting for his job at this moment. And it's likely that he won't even, start past like week 2, week 3. Like, it's very sad to see that a guy that was drafted 4th overall is now in this position where he's fighting for his life against Daniel Jones out of all people. The Colts are just not in a good position. And Anthony Richardson needs to do better.
Right. Also, why y'all not talking about Tate McMillan? Why y'all not talking about?
I said Tate McMillan.
Yeah, he was good too. I think him and I think honestly, I think him and Bryce Young really look good. And that's the thing about Bryce Young. His poise in that pocket is getting much better. He is making those layered throws that is really good. I like what I say. I'm excited to see what is a 3rd year Bryce Young looking like, man. I'm very, very excited to see how he's going to look. That's another guy where I'm just looking at, I'm saying, okay, this guy can be great. This guy can be great.
And Mookie, you think it's crazy to say from a statistical standpoint if Bryce Young has a better quarterback season than CJ Stroud? Is that really crazy? I don't think that's crazy.
I don't think it's crazy, but I don't think he'd be better than CJ Stroud. But that's right. When people got Bryce Young, people thought that Bryce Young was going to be just as good as CJ Stroud. I think situation matters. But CJ Stroud also being in a terrible situation where his O-line receiver's been hurt and stuff like that, being one of the more pressure quarterbacks in the league. But, Bryce Young, I mean, it took some time for him to have the confidence. I think, last year, just sitting behind Andy Dalton, just learning the offense and then playing really good in that second half of that season. I mean, I don't think that, it's crazy to say that he can have a statistical season better because he's getting much better weapons. Hunter Renfrow looks really good in training camp. His route, we all know how good a route runner Hunter Renfrow is. You know what I'm saying? And also you got Chubba Hubba. You know what I'm saying? You got Tate McMillan. Like, those guys are they're gonna have a good offense next year, bro.
Yeah, but I gotta be honest though, man. Mookie said the best situations matter, right? The Panthers right now are searching, right? One of the worst teams in the league, and so they're gonna be a passing team, even though they have a decent running game. Had a top 10 running game last year. But they're gonna throw the football a lot, right? In my opinion. And so stat wise, Jordan, you know what I'm saying? I can't go and say he's better because of stats, right? I'll judge Bryce in critical moments, 2-minute drives, before the half, fourth quarter. Does he execute? Does he make the right plays? Does he have to command the offense? You know what I'm saying? Can he pre-snap, prepare his team? And so I'm going to judge Bryce this upcoming season on like little things like that, right? For me, it's not even about wins and losses with the Panthers. It's about, are they going to develop him, and is he getting better game to game?
You don't think they should be a better team this year? With all the decisions they made?
No.
Are they going to be any worse than they were last year?
That's crazy.
I don't, bro. But with that being said, Jordan, I think Bryce can be better with his play. I think we can say, listen, they can literally lose 12 games, 13 games, and I say Bryce had a good season. Because, again, for me, it's not about wins and losses with that team. That's just my opinion.
I disagree. But they should for sure be better.
Nah, I don't. I think the Panthers are going to be very good. Like, I think situation matter. Like Mon said, they're going to be good. Also, why Michael Penix ain't getting any play, man?
Why are they doing that? They act like this nigga stamped in the league or something. I don't know why he's not playing.
That's the thing I don't understand too. I want to see Michael Penix and him getting some preseason reps.
He didn't even play.
That's the thing. When people sit there and say preseason don't matter, yeah, in a way it doesn't matter, but rhythm matters. You know what I'm saying? And I like to see quarterbacks go out there and just at least give a series, right? A series of just seeing how well the offense can operate, how rhythm it is, what we've been doing practicing in a game situation. I think preseason matters. It matters for these rookie players. It matters for people that's trying to get a spot. Preseason matters, but from these pro players that have been like 3-4 years in the league, come on, bro. We need consistency. We need rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Why you think the Bengals and Joe Burrow you know what I'm saying, is practicing right now because they need rhythm. They need all that.
Penix has literally he barely even played last season. He has no reps. He has to play preseason. I don't
He
see.
should have got some time though.
I don't see why they would not do that. That's just weird.
I don't know, but I think it's a pretty good sign that they're confident enough in their quarterback that they're going to prioritize reps.
Your mic
Yeah,
is
you sound a little far away. Your mic, it sounds a little far away. Might have connected to the wrong one or something.
You said it's because you think they got confidence in him. That's why they didn't play him.
I mean, I mean, he wasn't even that good.
He wasn't that good last season, so I don't think that's a good reason. I mean, unless he's going crazy in camp, which
the offense, the Falcons' offense in the 5 games that he played averaged over 33 points per game in those games. And from the very small sample size that we saw, he was already miles better than Kirk Cousins. So there might be an emphasis to maybe preserve him injury-wise, especially week 1 of the postseason. I think it's a good sign that he might be getting some really good reps in practice and in training camp that we might not be seeing.
Right. No.
Yes, sir.
That Penix should be dragging, be pissing me off.
Yeah.
he's just not that good, bro.
He hasn't shown anything like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
The team thinks
That's got to go. I'm telling them.
Yeah.
It's different. But moving on from that, actually, before we hop into the next topic, I need y'all to like this video. Make sure y'all are subscribed to the YouTube channel, and make sure if you're going to send a super chat, make sure it is about football, the topics we are talking about. But next up, we got Jamar Chase stirred the pot when he said you have to game plan for Joe Burrow's weapons. He said this on FanDuel's TV Up and Adams. And when you turn on the film, it's just different than Josh Allen. And that has sparked another big Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen debate. Panel, who do you give the edge to right now and why?
I would like to go first on this one. I mean, okay, hey, if I was Joey B, I'm not gonna lie. If Jamar said some shit like that, he would have had to see me in the locker room. Like, that's some disrespectful ass shit to say on camera, on live television, because you know what type of narrative they're gonna spin from that. But besides that, I mean, Joey Burrow versus Joe Allen. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I'd take Joe Burrow because I feel like when you compare the two, it's kind of like what you value in a sense. It's kind of like, because if you go from processing and accuracy, like Burrow's clearly better than him. But then if you go from like arm talent and just like big plays in general, you would have to go with Josh Allen. Me, I go with Joe Burrow, especially like, you know, especially we seen the playoffs. I know we haven't seen him in the playoffs, but he's usually a very good playoff player. And just I think he's the best like in pocket processor in the league, throwing with anticipation, accuracy. I think he's the most accurate quarterback in the league. And I think his floor is way higher than Josh Allen, because in some games, like that one Jets game, I think a year or two ago, Josh Allen can look like a trash-ass quarterback. But then also, I mean, in the flip side, he also can look like the best quarterback in the league. So it's kind of like what you value. I just like consistency and processing and accuracy. I'll for sure go with Joe Burrow. But that shit is crazy, though. Like, I would have to see him. Like, I would have to see him. You can't say that. That's crazy.
What qualities do you value and which quarterback are you taking due to the qualities that you value?
I mean, the thing with Joe Burrow and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen debate is kind of like they're so different. They're two different quarterbacks. I mean, that's basically what Jamar Chase was trying to say. Like, it kind of sucks how like the media is trying to spin it into a way that like, oh, Jamar Chase this, Joe Burrow. Like, no, that's not what happened. Basically, the entire clip, he was talking about Joe Burrow and why Joe Burrow should be a 99 overall in Madden, and how those two players are so different from each other. Jamar Chase was basically saying that Josh Allen was the entire Bills offense, and Joe Burrow is not necessarily the entire, Bengals offense. But with that, Joe Burrow is the best pocket passer in the league. He knows that. He would rather play with a guy like Joe Burrow than a guy like Josh Allen, because he knows that he can consistently get him the ball, in the right situations. And, again, like, it kind of sucks how like everybody's trying to spin it like Jamar Chase is, dissing Joe Burrow, whatever. But for me and what I value, I value, your ability, to be dynamic. And, I know Joe Burrow is, phenomenal pocket passer. That's not even debatable. But the reason why I'll give the edge to Josh Allen a little bit is because Josh Allen is also a great pocket passer. What Josh Allen, gives, more to Joe Burrow is that he's able to, have an insane arm strength, he able to provide rushing ability. When the pocket breaks down, he's able to provide plays out of structure. Those are all things he does better than Joe Burrow. Things that Joe Burrow clears Josh Allen in. Josh Allen can do, just a little bit worse than Joe Burrow. But the things that Josh Allen clears Joe Burrow and he, absolutely clears them. So that's why I would give the edge to Joe Burrow or to Josh Allen a little bit. But, I think it's pretty close in my opinion. But,
you think the accuracy is close between them two? You think the accuracy is close?
I mean, yeah, I would say that
it's a big gap. Go ahead.
I don't think it's that crazy, no.
Yeah.
You think the
hold on, someone.
That's crazy.
You think the accuracy is close?
Bro, why are you guys are acting like
saying
Josh Allen
is inaccurate? Yeah.
He can't make his passes
compared to Joe Burrow, though. Compared to Joe Burrow.
The accuracy is not close.
So how many interceptions did Josh Allen have last year?
What do you think Josh Allen was throughout the majority of his career? Like the things that you see on Josh Allen's tape from like his rookie year, sophomore year, or even his third year until he got Stephon Diggs. But what you saw on tape was just crazy. His accuracy was dog doo-doo. It was not that good. His accuracy was trash. Joe Burrow has been accurate since he got into the league. Like last year,
right now?
I understand.
Why are we talking about rookie year tape and shit? I thought we were talking about right now.
Right now, there's nothing Josh Allen do better than Joe Burrow right now, bro. There's nothing Josh Allen do better than Joe Burrow right now.
Oh
accuracy, anticipation, processing, decision making. There's just nothing.
No, you trolling, bro. You said there's nothing he does better.
As a passer, no,
he does better.
No.
So he has a better like deep ball than Josh Allen.
Anything that has physical traits, which I don't value for a quarterback, because I just think that
at all,
Josh Allen.
You don't value physical traits in a quarterback.
It's not the end all be all for a quarterback. No,
it's not the end all be all. But you don't value it a little bit. Like the fact that
this is the thing that you're not understanding. Physical traits is very good. Like it gives a quarterback a higher ceiling. But the thing is that what gives the quarterback then consistency and that you know that you're getting on the night-to-night basis is things that measure up in here. And that's reading defenses, accuracy, processing coverages, manipulate coverages. And that's something that Joe Burrow does better than anybody in the league. And I don't even think anybody is close to him doing that, right? So Joe Burrow, I value the floor of Joe Burrow, even though Joe Burrow is lacking physical traits like the arm strength. He's not that fast. I feel like Josh Allen, quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, they use that ability a lot more. Like they use that ability, and we talk about in terms of using your arm strength and using your legs to a point where defenses take that away. Defenses scheme that thing away. And like I said, when Jamar Chase talking about you can game plan for a guy like Josh Allen, you can. Like if a guy that is relying on his physical traits, a guy that is a flawed pocket passer, because y'all sit there and said Josh Allen is a great pocket passer.
He's not
a good pocket passer.
He's flawed.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, he's flawed in some.
Where is his flaws that you saw last season? What was his flaws that you saw last season?
Well, just I don't think last season is that.
We're talking about the NFL right now. We're not talking about 5 years ago. We're talking about right now.
Right now.
I know that's what I'm saying right now. I think the offense last year was more simplified for him. I think Joe Brady was very, very good in the way of just using the run game and not using Josh Allen in a high usage way where he just making these throws. I think Josh Allen is a decision maker. When he is being aggressive, he forced balls into tighter windows where it's just not there. I think Josh Allen in a way where when he gets off the first read as well, like that's when he does resort and getting out. I'm not saying that he's a one read quarterback, but I'm saying at tendencies at times he does do that.
Mookie.
So who do the Bills go to on 3rd and 4th down every time? Do they go to somebody else besides Josh Allen?
No, they go to Cook
on 3rd down.
They go to Cook.
They go to Khalil Shakir. What are you talking about? They go to James Cook. They go to those.
James Cook don't even play on.
They run a quarterback run option.
James Cook had an elite running back season. Don't try to downplay James Cook.
Okay,
nobody's downplaying.
Bills had one of the best running.
When it comes to
one of the best running lines in the game.
Okay, Mookie, but you telling me that they simplified it for Josh Allen and they didn't rely on him in clutch situations. Every 3rd and 4th
I didn't say they didn't rely on him in clutch situations. I'm sitting there saying that part of the reason why Josh Allen turnovers was down it's because they didn't allow him to do that much, and he didn't have a receiver like a Stephon Diggs, where Josh Allen was literally force feeding down the seams.
That wouldn't be his fault.
Stephon Diggs. I'm not saying that it's fault, but I'm saying that we've seen at times in the game against Josh Allen where he was aggressive, and they said, Josh Allen, here you go, put the cape on, let's get us down the field. The decision making and the turnover issues was still there when you watched him. It was still there. It was just he just.
Wait, Mookie.
So when did we see Josh Allen have a turnover in the fourth quarter in a situation where they told him, "You're a superhero, go down the field"? When did he turn over?
It's just bad plays, bad decisions.
It's just bad. Have you heard of turnover?
We're not talking about no damn turnover worthy plays. Give me a
because
break
that's
we are not talking about this shit.
Hold on. That's putting.
I don't care about that shit.
That's providing the nuances. LB, you're being a fanboy, LB. That's providing the nuances. If Josh Allen, okay, so if it's a seam route down the field, right, and that's his first read, seam route down the field, and there's a safety that's literally covering that down the field, right? It's corners covered, they're covering down the field. Josh Allen throws the ball there, and the DB catches the ball, but he didn't catch the ball. Really, it dropped in his hands. That is a turnover where those things that
I don't care about this what if
shit,
Mookie,
bro. Real quick. Mookie. Do you think Josh Allen is a top 5 pocket passer in the league?
No.
Who you got above him,
bro? Come on.
See, because if you don't say that, then you can't talk about quarterbacks, bro.
Like,
you started to talk about your ass.
Whoa, hold on. Wait, name the 5 best. Name
the
5 better pocket passer better than
Give us your
Josh
five.
He's trolling, bro. You don't know.
Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, C.J. Stroud, Jared
Goff.
He's Jared Goff. Come on, Jared Goff, bro.
Oh my
Jared Goff is a better pocket passer. What are you talking about?
How?
Way more accurate. Can go for. Hold on, Jared Goff. Hold on, Jared Goff got much more timing on his passes. He know how to manage leverage. He know how to compete in offense that consistent timing, manipulation, and on top of that, he competed in Ben Johnson full field read offense that he was literally getting through every progression as well. Y'all just looking at on just Ben Johnson, but y'all don't look at the things that Jared Goff do as a pocket passer. He's clearly a better.
I've never heard you gas up Jared Goff till right now, bro. Come on, I've never heard you gas up Jared Goff like this before. You were just hating on him last week, bro.
I was not hating. When I hate on Jared Goff last week.
Yes, you did last week.
What did I hate on Jared Goff last week? I don't know where you got this from, but that's why I said there. Getting back to the topic, bro. Why do you think, Maz? I'm going to ask you this, Maz.
Yeah.
Why do you think guys like Joe Burrow, like in clutch situations in the fourth quarter when we go into the postseason, and you got to go to the guy that is the top of the top, and that's your favorite guy, Maz, and Patrick Mahomes, how he's able to like be better than Lamar and Josh in those situations in the fourth quarter, right? Where you know that's where you need him to be, and that's games are won in the pocket. Like,
well, for one, the experience, right? He's been and he's done that. There's something to be said about being there, failing, succeeding, knowing what to expect, high IQ, preparation, right? Knowing what they've done all game long, right? Maybe a play they ran defensively in the first quarter. He sees the same package in the fourth and he eats it up. And so I think preparation, pre-snap preparation, high IQ, pocket awareness, those are just key attributes, right? And everybody doesn't have it. Right. Sometimes it's okay to check down to your running back. Right. It's okay to take the 5-yard pass and then rack up some rack yards, 10 extra yards. Right. I think Josh Allen takes too many chances in the fourth quarter when it matters the most. I think he trusts his arm too much. And for me, it's a good and it's a bad thing, LB. Because I think Josh Allen has maybe the strongest arm in the league behind Matthew Stafford. It's just that because you have a strong arm doesn't mean that you can make every single throw. Right. And so he throws in tight windows, and it's just that. And sometimes it's not even about the turnover, right? Mookie said earlier, it's about the decision making, right? It's the decision making. And here's my last point, right? Cook takes a lot of pressure off Josh Allen, whereas I don't think Joe Burrow has a running back like that to just rely on.
And then
I mean, some people
have to cut you off, bro, because Joe Burrow got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Let's
just
there's a terrible O line.
Right, exactly. And some people are predicting that James Cook this season can possibly be the best offensive player of the year award. Like he's in a running to get that, right? And to be fair,
who said that shit? James Cook is going to be offensive.
Excuse me?
I've seen it. Listen,
no one
said that shit.
No one with any credibility has ever said that.
And to be fair, Chase is in the hunt as well. And so it's just that they have those.
You cannot compare the two. That doesn't
They
matter.
have-
Chase versus James Cook? Are we
You cannot
serious?
compare them. What are you talking
Can I
about?
explain it, please? Can I please explain it?
Go ahead.
First of all, they both do different things in a good way, right? James Cook relieves Josh Allen in a certain way, and Jamar Chase relieves Joe Burrow in another way.
So Miles, I'm
And
not
they
gonna
both have a
cut you off.
case. They both have the case for the upcoming season to be the offensive player.
No, he does not.
Of the year.
James
Yes,
is not
they
the
do.
case.
I just looked this
Yes,
up,
he
Miles.
does. Yes, he
I'm
does.
looking at DraftKings right now. It says Jamar Chase is number 2 on the list.
Man, DraftKings ain't the
I don't
measuring
see
stick,
James
man.
Cook.
That's money.
I don't see
DraftKings
James Cook.
wants your money, bro.
15, 20
They're not
players.
the
I
measuring
don't see
stick.
James Cook on this list, bro. What are we talking about? What are we
Okay.
talking about?
Okay. Let's
Bro,
go
you're
back to
making
the
up stuff at this
topic.
point.
Let's go back on the topic of Byron. Let's get your input about the Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow conversation. Who do you have right now?
It's Josh Allen. When you guys say that he's not a prolific pass rusher, I have no idea what you're talking about. His footwork's perfect, throwing mechanics are perfect. Now, his rookie year, he had an ugly mechanics with his arm. They had changed the quarterback's coach. I can't forget it. And we saw a major improvement in year 2, and now in year 3, throwing less than 10 interceptions. When you have to take into account that this pass protecting unit is not among one of the best, and the receiving core around him, you cannot rely on to separate consistently. You can't say the same about Joe Burrow, who's thrown to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, because one, Jamar Chase separates better than almost any receiver in the league. So it doesn't matter if your protection isn't holding up for 3 seconds or longer if Jamar only needs 2.5 to get open. The second point is that Josh Allen's versatility cannot be overstated. He had 15 rushing touchdowns, 12 rushing touchdowns last season, 18 the year prior. I mean, that matters. The Bills' offense has been top 10 and top 5 almost every single year Josh Allen has started, despite the poor roster. And like Joe Burrow, while his pocket presence is extremely impressive and he throws with extreme accuracy, you can't not say the same thing about Josh Allen, because his mechanics are there, his footwork's there, and his pocket presence is just as good. And we see an extreme capability to play from outside the pocket with receivers that aren't to the caliber of Joe Burrow. And if Joe Burrow had the mobility of a Josh Allen or a Kyler Murray, I guarantee that he would be sacked way less than he is right now. So I don't know where the mentality that he's not a good pocket passer comes from. I don't know where you guys are coming from.
It's 5 quarterbacks,
bro. It's a great question, bro. I don't think it comes from
hold on.
It's
5 quarterbacks that I believe that are better pocket passers than Josh Allen. And you talk about like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and their ability to separate. Well, just to let you know, top 15 quarterbacks throwing to a wide open receiver 5 yards or more separation. Joe Burrow is rated 40th on that list, and Josh Allen was rated 23rd on the list. So it shows you that his wide receivers are also getting separation 5 yards.
That's a really, really tough statistic to put out there, because in the National Football League, receivers are not getting open by 5 yards or more. You're basically talking about guys that are wide open. That's not what we're talking about.
It's 5 yards or separation or more. That's the stat was.
That's a lot of yards. Wide open.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
5 yards of separation.
That's what I'm saying. And Josh Allen wide receivers are getting separation down the field. And also, just to let you know, is that when we talk about ball placement and accuracy, those are things that Josh Allen is not nowhere near Joe Burrow in that situation. Like
nowhere near.
If you look at Josh Allen, he had the highest off-target rate among top-tier quarterbacks in 2025. Josh Allen had an 18.1 off-target rate, was the worst clip for any among quarterbacks in the top 18, who was voted in the top 10 quarterbacks last year. So that means that he is throwing inaccurate passes compared to a guy in Joe Burrow who had the highest.
I'm gonna have to step this shit back a level, bro. You get a little bit too deep in the weeds here, bro. We care about quarterback performance. Let's break it down, bro. Joe Burrow.
Hold on. If you talking about quarterback, hold on, Josh LB.
Let me
if you
get to my damn point, bro.
LB, listen. I understand you want to defend LB. I know you want to defend Josh Allen, but the thing you got to understand is LB is that when you look at quarterback performances, Josh Allen was not even the top. He was not even a top 3 to 4 quarterback last year. You can make an argument that Josh Allen wasn't even a top 3 quarterback.
I agree. That was a fake.
You said Josh Allen in a top 3 quarterback? What
Do
quarterback?
you think Josh Allen had a top 3 season last year?
He had a top 1 season. That's why he won the MVP.
No, it's narrative.
No,
narrative.
MVP is a narrative award, Elby. You know that.
Lamar had easily the best quarterback.
Lamar and Burrow was better than Josh Allen.
I'll give you Burrow had a better quarterback season, but I don't think he's a better quarterback because when it comes down to it,
Elby, you sat there and said last year that Joe Burrow was better than Josh Allen. So what changed?
I said that? When did
you said it after the playoffs?
See, now you're starting to say some shit. I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Okay.
But we do got to get – I know LB kind of is already making his case on why I would assume he has Josh Allen over Joe Burrow, but you have the floor to say whatever you want now, LB.
All right, so I'm going to give you my perspective on this shit, bro, because I feel like we're getting a little bit into these niche stats and this kind of unnecessary shit, bro. Like, when we look at a quarterback, Joe Burrow is a better processor. He's more accurate. All right, congrats. He's better in pre-snap. All right. But let's look at what makes their team succeed. What makes the Bills succeed is Josh Allen. I don't care. You can give James Cook his credit. Yeah, you can give him his credit. You can say whatever. But the reason the Bills are good is Josh Allen. The reason the Bills have been relevant for the last 6 seasons is because of Josh Allen. So Stephon Diggs is not the reason the Bills were relevant. It was because of Josh Allen. And if you watch
wait, real quick.
Watch those games, you would know this, bro.
But the first 2 years when he didn't have Stephon Diggs, he was ass, and then they added Stephon Diggs.
He was ass.
Yes, he was ass.
He had 3,000,
and then he became.
He had 3,000 yard season with John Brown as his number 1 weapon. Like, what we talking about? Do you think Cole Beasley, bro?
Do you think he was a good quarterback in his first 2 seasons?
I mean, relative to his expectations, he was very good. Yes.
Yes.
We look at Joe.
Oh my God!
Let him explain. Let him explain.
I cook on this shit because I think you guys are a little bit out of touch with reality. Joe Burrow came into the league. He came into the league off a fucking NCAA championship, off everyone saying he is this good, which he was, and he came in and he met the expectations. Josh Allen came into the league with expectations of being a physical beast and being a bust. And what he did? He has overcame those expectations. So
he was looking like a bust in his first 2 seasons, though. He was looking like a bust before.
So who did he have? When has Joe Burrow not had a top?
It wasn't.
Tell me a season. Tell me a season he hasn't had a top 2 quarterback.
His rookie year, and you got to understand.
And what did he do?
His sophomore year. Hold on.
He got hurt. When he got hurt because he's not durable. Come on,
LB, listen,
LB, you're being nasty.
You're being very nasty. His sophomore year, when Jamar Chase was a rookie, T. Higgins was not nowhere to that caliber yet as a wide receiver, right? He able to lead that team to a top 10 offense and led them to a Super Bowl. So when you sit there and say Joe Burrow was like spoon-fed with like great weapons, Chase wasn't proven yet in the NFL.
So how they got to that Super Bowl? Was it because of Joe Burrow entirely, or was it because of something else?
Joe Burrow was balling out. He was balling out.
Joe Burrow was balling out. He was playing great.
How was T. Higgins not the same?
Yeah, I mean, bro, you doing the shit you do in the NBA where you just downplay someone's help to cook.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying T. Higgins was not in his prime yet.
But how was he not in his prime? If he had similar years to. Oh, so okay. When was he in his prime? When was T. Higgins? When did he make that jump to what he is now? What year?
T. Higgins started being in his prime his 3rd year in the league.
So 2022?
Yes.
So, but 2022 and 2021, he had similar seasons. So how did he somehow make this miraculous?
That's not how I made. You're just looking at stats. That's not
I'm
how
not looking at. I mean, you look at stats all the time. Why can't I look at stats?
What are we talking about, bro?
But that's why I said stats. That's why I sat there and said is this: if you're solely basing off of stats, I don't think just looking at stats and sitting there equate somebody that they're in their prime. Because when you look at T. Higgins, in his like 2nd or 3rd year in the league, when they started expanding the route tree for T. Higgins, that's when he started developing more in his prime. They limited the route tree for T. Higgins in his rookie year. So he was like the third wide receiver for that roster in his rookie year when he played with the Cincinnati Bengals.
But I'm talking about his second year. The second year they went to the Super Bowl. T. Higgins was a proven option. That's when he started to actually.
The second, hold on. When did T. Higgins get drafted?
I'm pretty sure his first year was 2020.
2020. Let me check. I think it was 2020. You talking about 2020? Yeah. T. Higgins was like in his rookie year, sophomore year. See T. Higgins. Let's see. So he got drafted in 2020 and 2021. He was 1,000-yard reception. That's the year that they went to the Super Bowl. In 2022, 2022, they didn't go to the Super Bowl in 2022. They went to the Super Bowl in 2021. The 2021 to 2021 to 2022 year. The 2022 to 2023 year is when they went to the AFC Championship game. That's when I think T. Higgins was like getting towards his prime self. But no, I don't think that he was in his prime self in his second year in the league. No.
But why? Like, I mean, you are right. I'm looking at the stats, but I mean, he had less yards in 2022. He had one more TD. Like, where you're talking about his route tree? How did they expand his route tree to the point of in 2021 he's not in his prime, in 2022 now suddenly in his prime when he had less yards? I feel like what you're trying to do is you're trying to downplay.
You're just stat watching. You're just stat
watching. Make his point.
But hold on, I'm not just stat watching.
So you want to talk about watching games?
You said, look, I watched T. Higgins in 2021, and I thought he was great. I thought he's the same player from 2021 to 2022. You're making it seem like he made this big jump. I'm not seeing it. And then also, I feel like what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it seem that in 2021 Joe Burrow had no weapons and he brought this team to the Super Bowl, but 2022
nobody said he didn't have no weapons. When it ever came out
by a defense in 2021.
No, hold on. Nobody sat there and said he didn't have no weapons, but to sit there and make it seem like what LB is trying to create is a narrative to sit there and say that Joe Burrow came in the league and already had elite weapons. Number one, that's factually incorrect because number one, Joe Burrow was playing at a high level in his rookie year. And number one, he could have run a rookie of the year if he didn't get hurt. That's number one. And number two,
because he's
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were not the caliber of players that they were today. People trying to sit there and say that they were like they're Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. What they are now was what they were coming to the league. That's not what they were. Like T. Higgins got much faster. T. Higgins got much better than that. And the thing is, he could. You said what?
Jamar Chase's first 3 games in the NFL are the best 3 games any rookie receiver has had in their career.
Because of Joe Burrow.
The best first three games any receiver has ever had. If
you remember,
you acting like Jamar Chase hasn't been elite.
He had 3 straight 200-yard games.
Who was throwing him the ball?
I know, but if your point is that Jamar Chase isn't the receiver he is today as a rookie, it's wrong. He was walking in day one balling. So was T. Higgins.
Because of Joe Burrow.
The day he arrived. Before Joe Burrow got there, he was already an upper echelon receiver. I wouldn't say he's a top-tier receiver one, but T. Higgins was doing his thing the day he walked into the league. It's clear that he's a borderline receiver one, receiver two, and of course when you add one of the generational talents that overshadowed Justin Jefferson in that LSU offense, you add that guy to the offense that starts balling in day one. Joe Burrow is essentially having his weapons his very first healthy season.
And I want to get back to like you said,
the problem is you're just equating talent and just looking at he had good stats. I think a lot of that has to provide more context to it. I think Jamar Chase, to sit there and think that Jamar Chase coming to the league was already elite is number one, and just going off the stats that he had the best 3 games. Yes, anybody can have 3 great elite games, but the problem with Jamar Chase is he had pass catching issues. I think his catching ability was not nowhere where it was today. I think his hands was very, very highly suspect. Even you look at the preseason game, even you look at that whole year, Jamar Chase had a lot of pass catching issues that Joe Burrow would drop it on a dime, back shoulder, where it'd be right in place, and he would just literally catch the ball. He was nowhere near the contested catcher that he was today, right? Yak ability was there. The flashes of speed was always there. But if you're sitting there and telling me that Jamar Chase, where he got much better with his hands, he got much better in his ability to make contested catches, that he was that same caliber wide receiver that he was in his rookie year, you're just looking at stats and just not actually watching the film because that's not what he was. There was a lot of issues.
If you remember the AFC Championship game in which they beat the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl, he must have caught at least 8 back shoulder fades that game. It was every third down they were looking to Jamar Chase on those back shoulder fades. I can also look at a quick out route that Joe Burrow timed up right in the hands, right in the bread bag.
That's a test that quarterbacks across the league can make.
Jamar, I want to let you know, Jamar Chase, according to PFF, led the NFL in drop passes in his rookie year. Like the hands was issue with Jamar Chase, and most of those drop passes were on target passes for one of the most accurate
He
quarterbacks.
was dropping a lot of balls.
So my point is to sit there and say is that when I look at Joe Burrow, when I look at Josh Allen, I think Joe Burrow is clearly better than Josh Allen. If y'all value out of structure play, I don't think out of structure play gives you a higher floor for a quarterback that provides you elite level consistency. Joe Burrow, manipulation, things that you talk about for a pocket passer, he's literally generational in his league at that because he gaps anyone at that aspect, right? That is consistency. Joe Burrow last year had led the lead in passing yards, led the lead in passing touchdowns, dealing with one of the worst O-lines in the league, dealing with one of the worst games in the league as well, and yet he will still be able to lead the Cincinnati Bengals to what a top 7 to 8 offense in the league, and he led them to a winning record with having one of the worst defense in the NFL as well, right? So I just think that in a situational dependency thing, I think Josh Allen, when we're looking at things that are just being broken down, and when an organization needs you to build that up, and an organization needs you to floor raise a team that's lacking those aspects, O-line, no running game as well. Joe Burrow able to do that better than Josh Allen. That's why I have him over Josh Allen.
So wait, let me ask you this shit then. So you're telling me that the reason that Josh Allen became good after his rookie year was because of Stephon Diggs?
Yes.
And you're telling me the reason he was good last year because
Stephon Diggs cover a lot of flaws with
so when are we going to give Josh Allen any credit, bro? I mean, I'm starting to wonder if
I give him credit. I think Josh Allen is a top 3 quarterback in the game. I just think that Joe Burrow is just better.
So you're going to tell me the reason Josh Allen had a good season last year in all aspects of his game, turnovers, accuracy, rushing, passing accuracy, passing ability, on clutch on 3rd and 4th downs, that was all because of James Cook. But when we look at the Bengals,
no one said
that's
that.
What you just told me.
No one said that. You know no one said that.
He didn't say that.
So then why was Josh Allen good last year if not for James Cook?
I think this season you got it.
I think Josh Allen was very, very good last season in taking care of the ball. But I'm saying in moments at times, even when you go look at games against the the Ravens or games
Houston
against
the Ravens,
Houston
games regular season.
Right. We look at those games. Those games where the run game was not going, and Josh Allen had to be aggressive, and that's when they said, you know what, let's make things all true. Josh Allen, you got to lead us down the field. I did see the decision making flashes back when he had in previous years was just on the display. Even though he's gone through his progressions much quicker, and I think that he does use head movements and eyes really well, right? I do think it's somewhat of a detriment as well because he's a little decisive in that way. I just think that when I think from a whole totality, I think Josh Allen as an overall from a production standpoint and a guy that was like consistent in doing it at a high level like Lamar and Burrow, and like even for guys like Jaden Daniels and Justin Herbert and these other guys as well, I think they just provided more than a team.
Wait, Mugi, I got one one quick question. So I know earlier you had your top 5 pocket passers, and we all know that that's the trait you value the most.
And that was some crazy bullshit.
If you say that Josh Allen is not a top 5 pocket passer in the league, and that's the trait you value the most, how can you put him in your top 3 then? Why is he better than a guy like Matt Stafford then, or Jared Goff?
Because I just think that he's much better under pressure than Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford has been one of the more overwhelming, like struggling quarterbacks under pressure. Him and Jared Goff. The reason why I got Josh Allen in the top 5 is because what he can do from an impact standpoint, out of structure, and then I think he's a good pocket passer. I think Josh Allen is a top 6 pocket passer in the game. Me sitting there saying he's not top 5 is not me sitting there saying, oh yeah, it's the other guys that gap. I think the guys that gap him are the guys that are in the top 3 that gaps him as a pocket passer. But I do think there's guys that are just better than him. But I just think that he's still a good pocket passer. But I just think that he's very great in making plays out of structure. He got one of the top 2. I think he got the best arm talent in the league, right? And then his physical traits is up there with his ability to play out of structure and also being a good pocket passer as well. So that's why I got Josh on the top.
I'm hearing you give him credit, bro. That's what I'm hearing. So well, after all this shit, when it comes down to it, you can point fingers and say Josh Allen isn't accurate, is better processor. But then you look at the other side of things, you look at physical traits, running out of structure, out of the pocket. Josh Allen is better. And when you look at those two gaps between Josh Allen's out of the pocket and rushing ability and Joe Burrow's pocket passing and processing, there's not a big difference between them. So then when I personally look at it,
it is a big difference in pocket
it's not
passing.
a big difference. And when you look at it, and it's a big difference in rushing. So what's your point? So when you look
I don't think it's a big difference in rush because I think Joe Burrow got the best pocket presence. He got the best. He got the best pocket presence in the league, and he was very elite out of structure last year as well. So if I'm seeing, why you think peak Joe? Why you think last year was peak Joe Burrow? He was generationally the best pocket passer in the game.
Offense was completely built around him. There was no running game. It was built around him passing to his elite weapons.
Come on. Hold on. He was the reason why Josh Allen was better than the reason why Joe Burrow was better than Josh Allen is because he got him as a passer while also having the best pocket presence in the league. When we looking at Joe Burrow, what makes him so dynamic and reason why that was his peak season last year because his ability to make plays out of structure and his ability to make plays when the plays break down. Go watch Joe Burrow.
Josh Allen has done that exact shit many times in games in clutch situations.
Yeah, but he's not the level of pocket passer he is.
That's 30 yards down the field. What are we talking about? We see Josh Allen making 40-yard rushes on fourth down, bro, and Josh Allen is more durable. Josh Allen is more consistent. Like, bro, this is easy work. Come on, bro.
I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree with this debate. Yeah, that's a heated one. The panel is split. Y'all decide which player, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, in the comments. Make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. But yeah, now we're gonna move on because that one took a moment. But now it's time to predict some awards: MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and of course, Super Bowl winners. Who's taking home the hardware this season, and who's hoisting the Lombardi in February? I'm ready to see what players y'all have in mind for these awards. I know the panel will probably be split on these two. We'll start with Jordan. Go ahead. Oh, which MVP? You can just say all your awards. You're muted, Jordan.
All right, bet. For MVP, I got Lamar Jackson. I think he was the real quarterback. LB, why are you looking like that? It's Lamar Jackson. Bro. It's Lamar Jackson. This is the best team he's had. He's gonna be good from a team record standpoint, and the stats are gonna be there. We're gonna see him throw like by
Derrick Henry again. Is what you're telling me?
That's bro.
Let him finish, bro. Let him finish.
No. That's crazy. I mean, these Josh Allen fans, man, he's sad, bro. But they're sad. They're always discrediting somebody. But no, Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think this is the best team he's had from a defensive and an offensive standpoint. The team record is going to be there. The stats are going to be there. From a throwing perspective, we're going to see him have another Aaron Rodgers-esque touchdown interception ratio season. You know what I'm saying? Also running like prime Michael Vick, actually better than prime Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying? The combination of the two, that's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. You know, we all know he was the best quarterback in the league last season from a statistical standpoint and from looking at the games. He was the best quarterback in the league. So he's just going to show it again. We all know LB's boy Josh Allen got that fake ass Joel Embiid MVP. So we're not respecting that. In my brain, I swear to God, Josh Allen has no MVPs. Lamar has 3. I don't give a fuck about that shit. But Lamar, he for sure won. And then Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Nico Collins. I think, with all the wide receivers that went down on the Texans, I think we're going to see C.J. Stroud spam Nico Collins. And I think Nico Collins, from a versatility standpoint, he's for sure one of the most versatile wide receivers in the league, from route running, hands, yak ability, just everything. Like, he's like a complete package type of wide receiver. And I think we're gonna start talking about him in some top three combos for sure. So I can see him like really producing like upwards like 1,600, something crazy like that. I think CJ Stroud's gonna have to spam him because they don't got anybody else besides him. So, and then for Defensive Player of the Year, I got Micah Parsons. I'm very high on Micah Parsons. I think he is, if not the best pass rusher, I think he's the second best pass rusher in the league. And I think all this bullshit that Jerry Jones got him on, I think he's gonna, show it. He's gonna play. He's gonna ball out this season. I could see him, if not leading the league in sacks, being in top 3 and being just, pressures up. I think last season he was like top 7 in pressures, and he even played the whole season. Like, he's one of at getting to the quarterback, he's one of the best in the league. I think he's gonna have a really good season. And then Super Bowl prediction, I got Eagles and Ravens, and I think the Ravens are going to beat them. I think we're going to see Lamar have that playoff translation we finally needed. And once if we just get a deep postseason run from Lamar Jackson, I can, with no type of with certainty, I can say he's the best quarterback in the league.
Bro, we gotta focus in big on that bro.
So you're using hold on, LB. You're using, Jordan, you're using wins and losses to determine if he's the best quarterback in the league. But why you didn't do that for Jalen Hurts then?
No, I think I'm not talking about really from a wins and losses. I think pretty much what I'm saying is I'm translating it between the two. I'm saying if we see Lamar Jackson have a very good or great, like we expect him to, playoff translation, if he plays like he balls out in the regular season, I would assume that they're going to win the game. So I'm really just going off of his play. I'm not going off of wins and losses. I think if we see Lamar Jackson translate into the playoffs like we all know he can and he should, I think I will be able to say with certainty he's the best quarterback in the league. But I got Eagles and Ravens, and I got Ravens beating the Eagles.
Yeah, that's not a bad take. LB, what are your?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of confused, but I'm gonna give Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna give Jordan that for regular season MVP because
what you mean?
Like I said, Lamar Jackson is a regular season player. I mean, that's where he excels in his.
What the fuck has Josh Allen done in the playoffs? Has he made the Super Bowl?
Josh Allen in his career in the playoffs has 33 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Oh, I don't give a damn.
You don't care. You don't care about 33 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Who is at a better offensive situation between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in the playoffs? Who is we seen even no. Wait. We seen that's cap.
Bro,
we seen last year. We seen last year in the playoff game. His wide receiver one was Rashad fucking Bateman. Zaire Flowers did not play.
Oh my god!
Like stop, bro. Stop. I know. Listen. I know. Listen, LB. I know you're jealous of Holly Steinfeld. I know you want to be with Josh Allen. I know you want to be with.
All right, now you're doing some weird gay shit, bro.
But I'm saying, what I'm saying is,
you're being weird, bro. I'm looking you on facts, stats, and logic. You go on some side topic.
Okay, but
you're cooked, bro.
No, nigga. I know
you well done right now, bro.
No. Stop it. But I'm trying to stop, bro. Listen, what I'm saying is Lamar. All I'm saying is if we can see that playoff translation from Lamar Jackson, I'll be able to cement him as the best quarterback in the league. I don't want to hear that Josh Allen bullshit. Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback. That's all I gotta say.
LB, what are your predictions? Let's get back to the topic.
Yeah, like I said, I got Lamar Jackson for regular season MVP because that's what he's good at, bro. So I'm gonna give him that. And then when it comes to what I actually care about, which is the playoffs, I do have the Bills going to the Super Bowl and winning this year. I think that it's just their time this season. You know what I'm saying? And y'all can laugh at me. I see the fucking laughing faces in the chat and whatever, bro. But what I'm telling y'all is the Bills.
Yeah, that shit get cut off, nigga. Like, that's how you know he's on cat. That's how you know he's on cat. That shit got cut off, bro. Stop it. We can't hear you, bro. We can't hear that bullshit you're spewing.
You went out, LB.
We can't hear that shit, bro. Stop it. We cannot hear you, LB. You're talking to yourself, and it's like stop. That's how you know you was getting cooked. You got to hear you.
Die, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. But then when it comes to the playoffs, I do think it's gonna be Bills versus 49ers. I think we're gonna see an interesting run out of San Francisco. And I know y'all aren't seeing this coming, but I think we're gonna see a great season out of Brock Purdy, out of McCaffrey, in a defense that's gonna step up big time with Salah back over there. So I do think it's gonna be Eagles getting upset either in the second round or the NFC Championship. But when it comes to Super Bowl, I think that the Bills are going to finally put it together this year. I think the defense is going to finally not sell Josh Allen because if we're going to be honest, besides 1 year where the Bills lost to the Bengals where you could point the blame at Josh Allen, the Bills haven't lost a playoff game, and it's been his fault. So, I mean, it's just eventually it's just going to happen where the defense doesn't choke. So that's what I'm saying here. And then when it comes to season awards, I'm going to say Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Jamar Chase. And Defensive Player of the Year, I think it's going to be Myles Garrett, which he should have gotten it last year, in my opinion. So that's just what I'm saying, bro. But like I said, bro, you Lamar fans, give him MV3, bro. Shout out to Lamar.
Shout out Lamar. Mookie. You can go. Go ahead. NFL predictions.
I agree with actually let me talk about that. I mean, I think Lamar's gonna have a great year. I mean, we've all been talking about how the Ravens have such a great roster and, yada, yada, whatever. I'm going to go a different route, and I'm going to take Jaden Daniels from MVP because, Jaden Daniels, with what we saw for Jaden Daniels last year, he had probably the best rookie quarterback season we've ever seen. He has great mechanics. His ball placement is great. He's good decision maker. Jay Daniels has all of it. He's a good rusher as well. He's good out of structure. Like I'm really excited for what Jay Daniel has to stock for next year. And all this, everybody's saying this the sophomore slump stuff with CJ Stroud, bro. They don't know what they're talking about because I don't know where this narrative came from. But CJ Stroud and Jay Daniels are so different positions. The difference between those is that Jaden Daniels improved his offensive line, or not Jaden Daniels, but the Commanders. They improved his offensive line so well. They got Laremy Tunsil from the Texans. I've been hearing stuff that Laremy Tunsil is not one of the best pass protectors in the league. I don't know where they got that from. I'm not saying that you guys said it, but I've heard that on the internet somewhere. Josh Connerly, he's the first round pick out of in the draft. I thought he was a really good pick for the Commanders. He's going to be safe in that pocket. He's going to have time. We all know Jaden Daniels is smart. I think he takes that leap into elite QB. And then also, you could argue that the Eagles got worse. I mean, for you to win MVP, we all know you have to have team success. That's why Joe Burrow, I don't think he's going to win MVP just because, we all know Joe Burrow is going to be great. But do we think Joe Burrow is really going to win 11 games in that stacked division or 12 games? So that's why I think that, he's out of the case. But I think the Commanders do really well next year. So, I mean, Jay Daniels, he's really good. The Commanders are really good. And then for Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go Jamar Chase. I mean, it's kind of hard not to say Jamar Chase, considering the season he had last year. I mean, Joe Burrow just knows how to get him the ball. He's arguably the best receiver in the league. He's the best yak guy in the league. He's gonna have a lot of stats. Jamar Chase is my pick. And then Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Myles Garrett. Like LB said, I don't know if I would say he should have won it over Surtain, but I would say that he's the best pass rusher in the league. I don't even think it's close, honestly. I mean, he's good in the run game as well. He's just so intimidating. He's a dominant force. Myles Garrett, I think he's really good. I think he'll win DPOY. And then my Super Bowl pick, I'm going with the Ravens. I saw him today. I went to training camp. They look really good. Lamar looks, just as great as he did last year. Everybody talking about how the Ravens had the best, team in the league, and I think they're going to prove it, and I think they're going to get it done this year and go win Super Bowl 60. So
you can trust Lamar in the playoffs.
I can trust Lamar in the regular season. I know he's an elite quarterback, and I know that Lamar Jackson is going to do well in the playoffs. So
when has Lamar ever did well consistently in the postseason?
So last year, I don't know why people are saying that he didn't do well in the playoffs last year. You go look at EPA per play. Lamar Jackson was the best quarterback
in the first half.
Bro, we're not gonna talk about these two, bro. No, we're not talking about these two.
What are you about to say?
Huh? What?
You about to say something? You about to say he's the best what? Because it's probably a lie. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
Was, bro. Okay, going off of EPA per play, he was the best quarterback in the playoffs last year. So,
you was just getting mad at Mookie for using
stats. Hold on.
No, Mookie was getting mad at me for using
stats. Hold on. How do you measure EPA per play?
Bro, EPA per play is a stat that you take.
Yeah, we know it's a stat. How do you measure?
It's a stat.
Okay, let me finish. EPA is basically expected points on average. So basically, how if you have positive gains, like if you're doing well, your EPA is going to be greater. It measures your efficiency, and it takes historical data from a lot of years.
Yeah, so it's scheme
dependent, into a stat.
Right? You agree that it's scheme dependent, right?
It's not. I mean, not necessarily. Like, if
yes, it is.
You could argue Steve is.
Do you believe? Hold on. Do you believe that Jared Goff was better than Lamar Jackson last year?
No.
Well, he was top in the EPA per play.
You can't rely on EPA, bro.
Okay, I said according to EPA per play. I'm not saying EPA per play is.
But you're pushing. You're pushing
EPA. Look. I'm not saying just because he had a higher EPA, it means that he was better. But EPA is probably one of the best stats that you can use to correlate to winning. So EPA per play is a much better stat. I would rather use EPA per play than passing, just base passing yards, base touchdowns. Those stats, you need context, bro. EPA per play is a better stat to use than any of those base stats that we're talking about. So I'm not saying that just because he had a higher EPA, he's better. I'm not saying Lamar had the best playoff performance last year, but you can't deny Lamar Jackson did not play bad in the playoffs. We're not gonna act like he had the two turnovers and he brought his team back. So
What
I don't
about the first
understand
half of the Bills
where
game?
we're
What about
getting
last year
that.
against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship?
Okay, that year I say it's on him, but I'm talking
What
about
about 2 years ago
going
when we
last year.
lost in that year?
If
Don't
we're
do
going
that. Come on, we're talking
2
about
years
now.
ago,
Stop.
he wasn't in the playoffs, bro.
Yeah,
He's
But
never shown
anyways,
anything
bro.
to believe he's going to be
EPA
consistent
per play
in
is
the
not an
playoffs.
accurate depiction of like who you are as a quarterback. Like it doesn't measure things like what you do as a pocket as a decision maker. It's just heavy flaw. Like usually everybody that's top in the league in EPA per play have great O-lines and have great players that are top in the league. Yeah, that's why Jared Goff is top in the league in EPA per play. And also it's scheming dependent. Like so if you got one of the better play calls like Jared Goff had it in Ben Johnson as well, obviously his EPA per play is going to be the best in the league. And I don't think EPA play is the measurement of like Lamar. I think Lamar, when people sit there and say he choked, is because he played below his standard. And when you sit there and turn the ball over twice in the first half of the play, in a whole half, when you have never done that, not once in the regular season, if you have in a historical regular season, people can sit there and say that's his peak, and your offense is dropping off compared to in the regular season, the postseason, then that's why people sit there and get on Lamar Jackson, sit there and say he choked. Plus, he hasn't shown you that he can consistently play at great levels in the postseason. So, I mean, if you want to say the Ravens, that's fine, but I don't think it's them because we have seen the last 2 years how they had a historical defense, they didn't get it done, and a historical offense, they didn't get it done. So I don't know what is different. Maybe their secondary got much better in a way, and I think the Ravens have the best team in the AFC. But it's the quarterback. If Lamar would have played somewhat close to the level that he was playing in the regular season, then yeah, like obviously he would have, they would probably won a Super Bowl by now. But get to the topic that what Maria was saying, great topic. I think the quarterbacks for the MVP. I don't value MVPs like that. I don't think MVPs are the end all be all. I don't use it in the argument in such quarterbacks. I think it's more of a narrative award. I think Josh Allen, Joe Burrow had two of the best seasons last year. I mean, not Josh Allen, but Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow had two of the best seasons last year, and they didn't get an MVP award. So it's a narrative-based award. I care about the MVP caliber season that you have because that means that if you're playing at a level of the MVP caliber level, that means you're good enough to be able to win the award. Just different circumstances didn't allow you to get the award. Narrative, you know what I'm saying? Other players having historical seasons. So I care about the caliber season that you have. And I think the three quarterbacks that I think are going to have MVP caliber seasons are you're going to have the Mahomes, you're going to have Burrows, you're going to have the Lamars and the Allens. I think those quarterbacks are for sure guaranteed that they're going to.
Why Mahomes?
I said Mahomes.
Why? I said why Mahomes?
I think Mahomes is going to play with I think Mahomes is going to play with that consistency. I think their offensive line, they drafted a tackle as well. I think Mahomes is going to play with that level of consistency like he did. I do think that they're going to win games this year. I think the Chiefs still have a very, very good defense. And also, I just think that the weapons they're getting back are going to be much more healthy with the wide receiver.
We've seen Mahomes over the last two regular seasons underperform.
I think in the 2023-24 season, I think he played really well. I think there's a lot of context to be added. And I think 2025, he was very good in the clutch, but I do think the deep ball accuracy was faltering. I think when you look on film, it was underwhelming. Like I think his accuracy had dipped. But I think Mahomes, last year, if you want to say he didn't play to a standard last year, that's fair to say. But I think in 2023 to 24, he was very good. It's just his receiver led the lead in drops. In the passes and out of structure play, he was good. But I think Mahomes is like clearly like one of the better pocket passers in the game, very elite out of structure. I think Mahomes, the accuracy has faltered a little bit. But I honestly think that Mahomes can still be able to bounce back. So if I had to pick an MVP, I think Lamar is the safest pick to pick because he has the best team in the AFC. But then when I go look at the NFC with quarterbacks, I think can win it. MVP is Jared Goff as well, right? Jared Goff can win it. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks winning. So I would probably go with Lamar. I think Joe Burrow could win it if his team win 8 or 9, 10 games. I won't shock if my guy Joe Burrow win it, but we'll see. DPOY, I think it's going to be edge rusher. If you look from since like 2011, like mostly edge rushers and defenders are linebackers. Like most of those guys are winning the Defensive Player of the Year award. I think since then, I think there's only 2 non-edge rushers that have not won the award, and you know what I'm saying, Patrick Surtains, and I think it was somebody else that won it as well. I think it was one of the cornerbacks. I forgot who it was. But I think I'm going with TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt, when he's healthy, he's one of the more dominant edge rushers in the game. I think TJ Watt is the best edge rusher in the game today. He's very explosive, got some of the quickest hands from a defensive player that we've seen. So I think it's very him too. Now about the Super Bowl, offensive player of the year. I think Joe Burrow can win offensive player of the year. But it's a non-quarterback award, so I won't be shocked if Saquon or Derek win it as well. But about the Super Bowl, I think the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. I don't see anybody in the NFC can beat them, especially off the news with Matthew Stafford dealing with a bad back. I thought that's the only closest team that can compete with him. But dealing with that bad back, and especially the O-line struggles that they've been having in the past, I think those are very concerns with me. They were close to beating the Eagles. So I would go with the Eagles, and then in the AFC, I just can't count out Mahomes, bro. Going Mahomes and Chiefs. I'm running. We're gonna have a run back, man. The Eagles and Chiefs.
We gotta stop with the Mahomes.
I can't count out Mahomes. I can't do it. You know, hey, Byron. You know I can't.
Mahomes' time is done, bro.
It's facts.
I can't count him out, bro. I can't.
But go ahead, Byron. And your predictions.
All right. Well, my prediction for MVP, it's been said multiple times. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. If we look at his statistics last season, he very well should have won it. He completed over 2/3 of his passes for 41 passing touchdowns and only 4 interceptions, over 4,000 yards. It's a league-leading 119 passer rating, one of the best in history. He also rushed for 900 yards and 4 touchdowns. There's no reason to implicate that he's not going to replicate that season. The defense is going to get only better. They drafted Mike Green and the best safety in the draft, and Malachi Starks, to go in tandem with Kyle Hamilton. That defense is already 9th in points per game per unit. It's only going to get better. You look at Derrick Henry, leading the league in rushing, the offense in general, the top attack in football. They're adding DeAndre Hopkins to the receiving core. There's just Lamar's ability as a scrambler separates himself so much from everybody else. The threat that he poses to defenses before you can even account for anything else on the offense. You got to spy him. You can't let your edge rushers get too aggressive. It's a value that no other quarterback can replicate. It's why he already won 2 MVPs. You can make a case he should have won 3 if it wasn't for vote fatigue. There's just no reason that he bounces back when Joe Burrow is probably going to struggle because that defense isn't totally there. Josh Allen is relatively relevant, but he just won it last year in the rate, and I don't know that they're going to be able to be second in points per game again. And I think there's a lot of dark horses as well. So for me, Lamar is the obvious MVP. And now these next picks, I think, are a lot of fun. So my offensive player of the year I'm taking is Bijan Robinson. I'm expecting a big year out of Atlanta. Yeah, I think he's got a really good case to become the best running back in football. His pass catching ability, he's arguably the shiftiest running back in the league. He's extremely quick. His ball carrier vision is among the best. And you look at the offensive line for the Falcons as well. It was ranked number 1 in pro football as a run blocking grade. They invest a lot of capital as far as salary cap into it as well. I think Penix is going to be sensational. Over 33 points per game in every game that he played last year. I think the Falcons win the division, and Bijan makes a case to be one of the best players in football. And I think my defensive player of the year is going to be Aiden Hutchinson. You look at Aiden Hutchinson before he got hurt last year. In 5 games, he racked up 7.5 sacks. He forced a fumble, and his pass rush win rate led the league with 38%. He also led the league in pressures at the time of the injury with 45. I think, and you don't even take into account how dominant he is in the run game as well. There's not a lot of run stuffing on that defensive line. He makes up for it. And the defensive unit, without him, plummets in points per game and rushing yards per game. He holds a lot of that, and I think he's an excellent contender for Defensive Player of the Year. My Super Bowl matchup is going to be the Detroit Lions against the Baltimore Ravens, in which I have the Baltimore Ravens winning. I think the Ravens are probably going to be close to the top, if not lead the league in rushing again. And I think this time it's going to show. 16 carries for Derrick Henry in the game against the Bills last season in the postseason. it's not enough. Lamar, for me, in those playoff games, the play calling has been terrible, and there's no reason for Lamar to be throwing the ball 35 times in a game, especially when the Chiefs are controlling the pace with their run game and keeping the Ravens defense on the field. You got to establish a run game, and they haven't been able to do it. And I think this is the year that they get it done. The defense is going to get better. The rushing attack is going to stay the same, and Lamar's going to be off of an MVP caliber season. This is the year they put it all together. I think the Lions had a really good chance of making the Super Bowl last year if it wasn't for injuries on the defensive side. We already talked about Hutchinson, but their corners went down. They were having to elevate guys from the practice squad at linebacker to start and throw out there. I think that if that unit was top 10 before Hutchinson went down, I expect them to get back to that level on top with one of the best rushing attacks and one of the best offenses, period, in the Lions. And yeah,
I want to respond to that. I don't think Aiden Hutchinson is going to win DPOY, especially coming off a tibia fracture injury, some a really significant lower leg injury. Like since 2000, I don't think anybody has won a DPOY coming off a major injury, especially with Aiden Hutchinson, especially when you need explosion. Usually guys that are edge rushers that won DPOYs, they're giving you those 15+ sacks. So I don't think the explosion is going to be there. And plus, it's a ramp-up process. You know what I'm saying? Even if he looks sharp in camp, right, it's still rare and 12 a 17-game season where I don't think that he is still going to be that same explosive guy. So other than that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about the Aiden Hutchinson pick, though.
Hey, real quick, too.
There's not really any historic trends that would indicate that a fibula injury has any impact on production for any position. I think there are injuries, and that is the case. Achilles tears, ACL tears, MCL tears. There's trends with quarterbacks with the UCL. There's trends with injuries as far as production. Saquon tore up his knee, and I forget. Somebody broke his leg and came back and performed. It wasn't Saquon, but a broken fibula isn't necessarily an injury. I'm sorry, who was it?
Nick Chubb. Are you talking about?
I'm not sure.
No, I'm saying, can you ever name since 2000 where a player that came off a major body injury that won DPOY?
I can ask AI.
There's nobody that's done that. So to think that he is going to be able to do that, like set some historical trend that he can be able to come back with a significant body injury, especially when his game is predicated off of speed, explosion as well, right? I don't know.
So there's actually been a few. So JJ Watt came back after he elbow issues, so not necessarily wasn't a season-ending injury. Bob Sanders dealt with knee injuries, a knee injury that was
major body injury.
That was major. It was a season-ending knee injury. He came back and won defensive.
What year did Bob Sanders play?
That was 2007. You look at Nick Bosa. He tore his ACL. He came back and won Defensive Player of the Year. So it's happened. It absolutely has happened.
I think Bosa turned his ACL.
Like 3 or 4 years ago, I feel like.
This Aiden Hutchinson shit, man.
I mean, he was elite last year. He was good.
Led the league in pass rush win rate. That was leading the league in pressure. Sacks in the 5 games.
I mean, bro, that's a stat that you can't discount, bro. You can't discount that kind of stat.
He's not better than Micah Parsons.
I don't think he's better than Micah Parsons or fucking Myles Garrett, but he has
Max Crosby or TJ Watt.
I mean, shit, you're not wrong.
or Jared Verse.
He better than him.
But Mr. Ma is Mr. Maz. Are you there, Mr. Maz?
No, he had to go.
Maz,
he said he had to go.
Maz, are you alive?
It's like, I guess he's not here.
And real quick. I just want to say something too.
Go ahead.
Y'all don't think that?
Hold on. I want to correct. What's the name? Nick Bosa tore his ACL in 2020, and the year in 2021 he was a Pro Bowl, but he didn't win DPOY. So he didn't come back and after he torn his ACL.
DPOY 2020.
Huh?
It was the year. You're right. No, you're right. It was the year after.
Yeah, it was a year after. So he torn his ACL in 2020, and then 2021 he played the whole season. Then after that, he won DPOY in 2022 to 2023 year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of beside the point, bro. I don't think Aiden Hutchinson has a real case. I mean, he could be there, but what we're looking at, what edge rushers, since you want to talk about edge rusher, what edge rushers have been there, it is Myles Garrett, it's Parsons. I mean, it's TJ Watt. So I just don't think that. I mean, nothing against Aiden Hutchinson. He was good last year, but like Mookie's point, coming off that injury, and second off, he wasn't in that conversation. If I remember right, he was never really in that conversation for DPOY, even before he got hurt.
He was playing good.
What? No, yes, he was.
Good. And
he was in the conversation, but was he at the top?
Yes, he was the top before.
There's a difference between being in the conversation and being number one. He wasn't.
But he was. Aiden Hutchinson was the DPOY leader when he got hurt.
Do y'all think Aiden Hutchinson is better? Hold on. How many edge rushers y'all taking over Aiden Hutchinson?
At least 3.
So TJ Watt, Jared Verse, TJ Watt, Jared Verse, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons,
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett, yeah, of course. Oh yeah, I'm talking Myles Garrett. That's 6. I mean, you can probably put him at that 7th spot for sure.
So you're telling me Aiden Hutchinson is not a top 5 edge rusher?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know about that, bro.
I would put him in the top.
Bro,
5.
Jared Verse, bro. Y'all sleeping on Jared Verse
over.
Bro, do y'all see what he was doing in the playoffs? Do y'all see what he was doing in the playoffs?
He was wrecking. They couldn't stop him. That's the reason why Hurts was struggling in the pocket like he was.
He has no technique. His technique is ass, but he's just so strong. He'd be going straight through niggas' chest. Imagine he actually learned some pass rush techniques. The nigga, bro, he has the ceiling to be the best pass rusher in the league. Y'all sleep on Jared Verse.
And he's the whole Rams O line too as well, D line too as well, dude.
Bro, he's strong.
Yeah, he's very strong.
He's strong as shit.
He's very explosive too. Like,
yeah,
we talking about a guy that consistently just go through your chest and win double teams like he can. Yeah.
Okay. But that was interesting. So majority of everybody on the panel has Lamar Jackson winning the MVP for next season. We had one person say that they had the Bills in the Super Bowl. Everybody else, I think, has the Ravens, right?
We know what that is.
I don't see.
I don't know how y'all are picking the Ravens, bro. I'm sorry. But
what do you mean? How the best team? What do you mean? We don't know. You don't know.
Lamar Jackson has never performed in the playoffs. He is.
Bro,
it doesn't matter if your quarterback chokes, then you cannot make to the Super Bowl.
Bro, has Lamar Jackson not shown you with the larger sample size that he can be an elite QB?
Bro, the regular season.
Answer the question. Has he not shown you with the large sample size that he can
be his playoff sample size? How many playoff games has he played? Let me look it up.
He's played 8.
You have it on a tab. So I'm trying to act like you don't have it on a tab ready.
He's played 8 playoff games.
You got a Lamar. I
want to let y'all know too as well. Please do not sleep on the Houston Texans, because the Houston Texans are a team that is going to be one of the better teams. I'm talking about to make runs in the postseason. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think nobody in the AFC is gonna win a Super Bowl. I think that's easily going to be the Eagles. But I think that team that I can trust. No, I said the Eagles.
No, he's gonna make it.
She's going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But I think that Houston Texans with that defense, with Will Anderson, with Stingley, Jalen Petrie, those other guys as well, and then they added Gardner Johnson too, where you can just throw him out anywhere. He can play the nickel, he can play corner, he can do anything around that defense. I think that Houston Texans team is very good, and we've seen C.J. Stroud still be able to perform, especially when his situation is just not there. So I think that they're consistently getting to the postseason. C.J. Stroud has shown you that he can win games in the postseason as well. I think that Houston Texans team is a team that I'm like, if given the right situation, they can finally get over the hump to get over to the championship game.
And real quick too. I don't know why we're acting like the Eagles are still not the best, clearly the best team in the NFL. Right. Even with their losses, they've added, and you gotta imagine internal growth. You gotta imagine that DeJean's gonna get better, Quinyon Mitchell is gonna get better. Just the team in general is gonna get better. So you can say they lost people, but I mean, having anyone in the NFC besides the Eagles, that you're just being fake. Well, like they're still clearly the best team in the league. I got them. The only reason I got the Ravens beat them is because I'm pushing Lamar Jackson agendas. But I really like just being honest.
Yo, what do you think? What do you think about Leonard Dickerson getting hurt though? in the preseason.
I've seen that shit.
Bro,
They say he'd be all right.
They're
They say
stacked,
he'd be all right.
bro. They're the whole team, defense, O-line, running back. I mean, not quarterback, but everything besides the quarterback, they're just stacked that. Like, they have so many like people that could throw you on the defense, offensive line, best in the league. Like, just if you look at everything, like, they're still clearly the best team in the NFL. I got them repeating, like, just being honest. But I think the Ravens could beat them though. But Lamar would have to play out his body.
Yeah. We'll need that. Shout out to 3000 Degrees, member for 29 months. He said shout out to the panel. Now we're going to move on to the last topic of tonight's episode, 2026 Hall of Fame candidates. First ballot locks. We're closing the night, like I said, with a look at the 2026 Hall of Fame class. This list is stacked. So we got Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Frank Gore, Phillip Rivers, and more. Who's guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer? Who might have to wait? And is there anyone being overlooked? We'll start this one off.
I think we all agree that Drew Brees is first ballot. He's locked.
Why?
Because he's the top three quarterback of all time, bro.
I'm joking.
Okay.
No, I'm about to say, bro. No. I'm about to say, bro. You trying to raise bait, bro. You trying to raise bait, bro. But nah. Drew Brees, historically dominant, set a historical gold mark of what a historical passing season should be like. Elite longevity, like one of the top two greatest pocket passers of all time, led historical offense. He's a lot for me. What do y'all think about LaShawn McCoy?
Yeah.
Because he's up there too as well. I don't think LaShawn McCoy is a Hall of Famer.
I definitely don't think he's not first ballot. And same
Hell
thing
no.
with
he's not first
Phillip
ballot.
Rivers, bro. I think the only one that's going to be first ballot is Drew Brees.
Larry Fitz?
Yeah, you don't think Larry?
I
You don't think
mean,
Larry?
I can see Larry Fitz, but people be underrating him. I think he should be, but he might not be. In all honesty,
Bro, he's a lot. Larry
No,
Larry's
Larry
a lot.
Fitz, Larry Fitz,
Larry
and
should
Drew
be, yeah.
Brees. Larry Fitz and
longevity.
Drew Brees are two locks. They are 100% getting in the Hall of Fame next year.
Yeah.
I mean,
The longevity.
I'm sure Drew Brees and Larry should be there, but he might not. This dude, Jimmy Tushu, said Jason Witten should be first ballot. Bro.
Don't.
Yeah,
He doesn't play football.
One of the greatest tight ends ever.
You said
Bro, I know
Larry
you're a
Fitz.
Cowboys fan, but he's not no man.
Yeah. Stop.
I think he has a case, though. I definitely think he has a case.
Not for his first ballot.
Nah, hell no. He's not no damn best tight end. One of the best tight ends.
He's an impeccable route runner, an impeccable blocker, an incredible blocker. He was one of the smartest.
Is he top five? Is he top five tight end?
Yeah.
No, the
Yeah,
fuck
he
he's
is.
not. No, the fuck he's
Who's
not.
a top 5 tight
Yeah,
end?
he's
He said Jason Witten's a top 5 tight end, bro. That's cat.
Broncos in the
said-
top.
Hold
said
on. Byron,
time?
explain why Jason Witten is a top 5 tight end to you all time.
Because of his receiving ability in tandem with being one of the best run blocking tight ends that we've ever seen. While he's not the most like speed wise, he's not there. He's still incredibly shifty. He's got an extremely big frame, which is exactly what you want from a tight end. So he's got the ability to catch it at a high point. I think he's the Cowboys' leading receiver all time. And on top of that, he's one of the best blocking tight ends ever. Tight ends are a lot more than receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, and Jason Witten is the ultimate definition of a tight end. He is the pillar of what it means to be a true tight
Okay,
end.
Byron. Okay.
And I
Okay, we
can't
get
think
it,
of
bro.
anybody
Yeah, we know you're
You
a
like
Cowboys
him,
fan.
bro.
Okay, look, I'm gonna list off a tight end and tell me if he's better or not. Okay, you ready? So, is he better than Tony G?
No.
Is he better than Travis Kelce?
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Like, bro, come
What?
on.
Oh my
yo,
God.
Travis
Oh,
Kelce,
God.
my nigga.
No,
Really?
he's not.
That's a clip, bro. That's a clip, bro.
Yo, bro, come on, bro.
He's a glorified slot receiver. They don't ask him to do what Jason Witten does.
I mean, he's not wrong by
Jason
Witten, not receiver. He plays tight end.
Byron,
Bro. Gotta give him that credit. He plays tight end, bro.
Hold on, Byron. Kelce, gap him as a route runner. Gap him in hands. You can utilize him.
Doesn't got him in the hands.
Yes,
Yes,
he
he
does.
does.
Yes, the fuck he does, bro. Stop.
He got some in his hands. He got some in route running. He's better at the pass. Travis Kelce has been the pillar of a offense that have been more dynamic that we ever seen in NFL history. Jason Witten has never been part of any type of offense. And if you're sitting there using like run blocking, any type of blocking, to sit there and think that he should be in a top 5 tight end, why isn't George Kittle over freaking Jason Witten?
or Gronk.
Well, I don't think Kittle is quite near the run blocker that
All right, bro.
Kittle's a great blocker.
Y'all
you starting to sound like Mr. Moss now,
Am
bro.
I
We
watching
gotta
different tape? Am
let
I
him-
watching different
Oh
tape?
my gosh.
Let's put it Byron in.
was having another tackle up there. Okay, and Travis Kelce has 77 receiving touchdowns for his career, playing almost exclusively from the slot. Jason Witten has 74. So, and that's with way more targets than Jason Witten. So the idea that Kelce is such a premier receiving tight end that we've never seen before is false. Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp were much more versatile premier receiving tight ends than Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce benefited greatly off of the scheme that he was in and playing with really high quarterback play, especially over these past 4 or 5 seasons. Jason Witten has never had that, and he is the pillar of what it means to actually play tight end. We're not going to award self-proclaimed tight ends that line up in the slot 80% of the time. We're not going to do that.
So is Kelce?
Yeah, but Kelce had 7 straight seasons of 1,000 seasons as well, right? And Jason Witten only had 2,000-yard season in 17 years. So when we talk about the level of prime years that you were able to dominate, there's nothing that Jason Witten does within the passing offense that give you more value than Travis Kelce. You can sit there and say he was schemed. I've seen Travis Kelce line up in the X. I've seen him line up in the slot. I've seen Travis Kelce being able to be used as an extra blocker and still be able to provide the value that's something that Jason Witten has never did, and that's as a receiver threat within the whole offense as well, right? And then we're looking at whole postseason dominance. So already know that the regular season dominance goes to Travis Kelce because he has 7 straight seasons of 1,000 yards or more, being one of the better receiving tight ends that we ever seen in NFL history. But in the postseason dominance, bro, 1,800 playoff receiving yards and still be able to, have double-digit touchdowns, 19 touchdowns and 3 Super Bowls as well, like getting to the postseason and still be able to maintain the dominance. Jason Witten was good. Like when you talk about him as a run blocker is really well. But do you think Jason Witten is a better run blocker than George Kittle? No. And George Kittle still provide more to the pass game than freaking Jason Witten.
Bro, why are you acting like George Kittle don't be blocking them?
Run blocker. He clears as a run blocker than almost any tight end I can think of. I can't think of a better run clears. I mean, there's not watch the film. Watch Jason Witten not running routes. But as a run blocker, it was quite literally like having an extra tight end out there. They had to get guys like Gavin Escobar, who were 6'2", 6'3", just to add that quick tight end. Because because how dominant Witten was as a run blocker, they didn't want to move him anywhere else. What the hell are you going to do putting Jason Witten in the slot when you can have double a defensive end and seal the edge perfectly? And you can't use receiving yards as a measurement of success in tight ends when tight end is a completely dependent position based on your role on the offense schematically. You can't do you can't say that he has 1,000 receiving yards because he plays in a pass heavy offense, which he's in the
But you brought up receiving touchdowns, and it's just not the receiving yards. The fact that he's still producing more with the receiving yards while also getting bracketed. And also when we're looking at him being a centerpiece of a modern vertical style of motion-based offense that he was consistently being able to produce in, was just better than anything Jason Witten was doing. Yes, Jason Witten was very good at finding soft spots in the zone. But when you look at Kelce, not only he was elite at finding soft spots at the zone, but that yak ability that he provided while being a tremendous contested catching tight end in the game as well, while also getting bracketed more, right? So teams were literally putting the shell around to stop a guy like Kelce, where Jason Witten was not dictating all that type of defensive attention the way that Kelce do it. Anything on film, when you're looking at things that he provided at a high level, he got anything that has to do with anything about receiving. The only thing you can have the argument is to sit there and say he's a better blocker. That's it. But I outproduce you. I had better season in my prime than you. I was better in the postseason than you, and I was a centerpiece of the historical offense while being one of the best weapons in the Kansas City Chiefs offense in 2018, while modernizing what a historical tight end season is supposed to be like. I don't see why Jason Witten is even close with.
But you don't see that modernization. You don't really see that trend with tight ends that there needs to be an emphasis on the vertical ability. In fact, what we've seen is tight ends get jobs for the sole purpose of blocking. It's disingenuous to say he's only if the only thing you can say about Jason Witten is that he's a better blocking, when blocking is what should be well over 70% of the job. That is what it means to be a tight end, and it has always been that way. And the only difference now with these premier tight ends that you're lining up in the slot and throwing in motion, if I really need that out of my offense, I'm going to put another slot receiver in there. I'm going to put a tall receiver in there. There's things you can do to replicate what Kelsey is doing. There's nothing you can do to replicate what Jason Witten did as a tight end.
It's a different league. Blocking was more of an emphasis back in the day when it was a more run-heavy offense. When you look at a league where it's more modernizing the passing, it became a sole point. Like blocking is one piece for a tight end, but when you're looking at how the modern offense is being advanced, is because of the use of tight ends play. That's basically the thing when we're looking at tight ends for the passing offense.
And Mookie, he said there's emphasis to blocking the tight ends. We just seen Brock Bowers come in the league, and that nigga don't be blocking shit. And he's one of the best tight ends in the league.
That's not true. That's actually not true. He blocks very well.
No, he's not, bro. I watched the tape.
Yes, he is.
Great blocker.
No, he's not,
I watched plenty of Brock Bowers tape.
Bro, the motor is not there. He's not consistent. He's not a consistent blocker. He's not a good blocker. Stop. That's crazy. Come on. And we just seen him just strictly off of passing, route running, hands, yak ability. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. So that's cap. Stop with the Jaden wishing shit. I know you're a Cowboys fan, bro. I know you're a Cowboys fan. I know you want to stick up for your boy. I know you want to stick up for your boys, but
who's better? I want to ask y'all the panel. Who is better at creating mismatches? Jason Witten or Travis Kelce?
Well, I mean, it's Kelsey. I mean, obviously. But I mean,
I've seen Kelce.
I'm not looking for I'm not looking for
a short dig.
Up
down the field to a freaking touchdown, bro. Like you have never seen Jason Witten Jason Witten was very good. I respect Jason Witten, but he is nowhere near to the level of Kelsey. But do you believe that he is first ballot though?
Jason Witten? No, bro. Yeah, absolutely. He of course is a first ballot Hall of Fame.
So you have Drew Brees and Jason Witten. You think that those two are first ballots? I would assume.
And LaShawn McCoy as well.
You don't think Larry Fitzgerald?
You got Shady as first ballot?
Oh yeah, Larry Fitzgerald as well. Absolutely, Larry Fitzgerald.
Frank Gore is first ballot too as well.
Yeah, he is strictly off of
for sure.
Yes, because he's one of the all-time leaders, bro. They're gonna give it to him.
No, I understand that. I'm not saying that he won't, but I'm saying that there's definitely a conversation. And yes, I mean. There's a conversation for these other players. Like, I mean, Eli's still not in the Hall of Fame. Phillip Rivers is in that conversation. No, he didn't. And I think that I didn't want to talk about Phillip Rivers because I know he's eligible this year. I know Big Ben is still eligible, but I don't see a guy like Phillip Rivers getting in over a guy like Eli just because of the postseason success. Mm-hmm. So I think Eli will have a chance to get in the Hall of Fame this year. And then like y'all said, Frank Gore, I think he has a shot too. But all I know is 100% Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald are 1,000% first ballot Hall of Famers. Jason Witten, I mean, with the tight end, it's kind of hard because the game has just changed so much. Blocking was more there was more of emphasis on blocking back in the day. And I think I do value receiving just a little bit more just because you are a direct impact in the offense. They can use Travis Kelce in so many ways. And not to say that Jason Witten wasn't a good pass catcher. Obviously he was, but Travis Kelce clears him as a route runner. I mean, he's better. He's a better yak guy. And like he said, the scheme, it really is, the scheme that because Andy Reid have him going on go routes and stuff, and we all know Travis Kelce is an amazing pass catcher, but Jason Witten clears him as a blocker. So I mean, it kind of just depends on whatever you view. If you say Travis Kelce. I probably would lead more towards Travis Kelce, but I don't think it's that crazy to say Jason Witten is better than Travis Kelce.
So you think that just because you think just because you're a better blocker that makes you a better tight end?
Well, here think about it like this. How much of a better catcher or receiver is Travis Kelce?
He clears.
Jason Witten. Does he really clear though?
Yes, he clears.
Yes.
Stop,
yes.
bro.
I don't.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Wait. Who's better, Travis Kelce or George Kittle?
Yeah, you can argue it. I don't know.
So
that's an argument.
Why can we argue Travis Kelce?
I'll go with Kelce.
Why can we argue George Kittle, but we can't argue?
Because Kittle clears.
Kittle is literally one of the best at the league. I think he's one of the, if not the best in the league for yak ability from a receiver and tight end. So if you value all of that, he's one of the best at that, bro.
I mean, I think it's pretty close, but I mean,
no, it's not.
Well, I guess the perception of Jason when it's just his career is going to vary person to person. So. But that is all we've got for today's episode. I think we all agreed that at least Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald were locks for that Hall of Fame. But before we close it out, is there any final thoughts regarding the preseason or the topics that we've talked about?
Stop the Lamar Jackson hate. Stop it. You know, you got niggas like LB to try to discredit him on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? We need to appreciate greatness when it's in front of our eyes. He's gonna end up as a top 5 quarterback when it's all said and done.
All right,
I think LB had Lamar winning MVP next season, if I'm not mistaken.
He was about to say hate, like he was hate.
He said that to diss Lamar.
Yes,
he said he's a regular season guy.
Okay,
he knows what he's doing too, bro.
Even though he's showing that he can't be an elite quarterback.
Lamar Jackson's top 3 in the league. I'm not going to argue that he's not. I'm dead ass on that. Like he's top 3.
But you're making it seem like it's crazy to have him as Super Bowl champions. It's not crazy at all.
I do think that's crazy because
you have the Bills and the Super Bowl.
I mean, bro, when you look at the quarterback's performance,
LB, I'm gonna tell you this. LB got a point. Everybody been saying that the Ravens will get out the Super Bowl the last 2 years, and what happened?
4 years.
This is their best team. This is their best team, though. This is their best team.
We've been saying that. Y'all been stacked.
No. This is the best roster the Ravens have ever had, and they're going to.
No excuses. There's no excuses.
No excuses. No excuses.
Unless y'all heard it here first, bro. Jordan, they're going to hold him accountable, right? So when Lamar chokes in the playoffs,
all I know is the Bills are second round exit.
Remember this.
And then when Josh Allen gets flamed out in the playoffs, nigga, I want to hear you come and fucking apologize.
When he loses to Mahomes,
so when Josh Allen got 300 yards and his defense gave up 40 points,
now he's already making excuses. You're already making excuses.
No. And then the Josh Allen's gonna lose, and then they're gonna find a way. They're gonna say, "Oh, he lost because of this," and then the NFL is gonna change another rule. That's what they're gonna do with Josh Allen.
But we gonna hold. I'll be the one holding y'all accountable. I'm gonna hold everybody accountable for the takes that they've spit prior to the season officially starting. But that's it for tonight. Thank you to everybody who joined in. If you haven't already, make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss next week's episode. And one last time, if you're on Underdog, use our code TAKEOVER to get in the game. Please make sure y'all download Underdog. Go do that for us. Go do that. And we will see y'all next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Same time in the same place.
All right, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the cast.